But you're
because that's what a job fair is.
Well, yeah, but it's open to everybody. Once you cut off other groups, you're being discriminatory. You're saying I'm not going to hire you. You just said targeted.
Who said that other people aren't going to be there?
It's targeted for those groups. So
have you ever been to a job fair?
I have, but listen to what you're saying. Let's not obfuscate. Let's get to what you said. If you target, okay, good. All right, so let's stay there. Let's say there's a job fair to what you said that's targeting women. Hypothetically, let's say other men are there, which doesn't make sense if you're targeting women. You have men there, but you just say, okay, that's fine. But that's still, but the ideal is that the men are there and they might not be in the know that they're not prioritized. You're prioritizing the sex over the other sex, and therefore there's going to be a less likely chance you get the job as a male because they prefer females.
Who said anything about priority?
That's what targeting means. Oh, Jesus. That's what targeting means to you. It does.
No, it doesn't.
You're targeting this thing opposed to that thing. Come on, man.
No, it's not. No, you're an idiot. When the Army puts...
Yes, I'm not making sense right now.
When the Army puts a recruitment facility, or they go to different high schools, right, with different populations, is that a target? Are they really targeting?
It depends on what they're targeting, yes. They be targeting something. Yes, that's common sense.
Right.
Why here opposed to there?
Because hey, it's not here opposed to there. It's everyone. Like, it's not like Yale or Stanford or wherever the fuck they were going before is not still being recruited from. As a matter of fact, again, according to the data, these things, again, since there is no enforcement, there's only like a minor increment of a bump of inclusion because you're now exposed to a different pool of people. But the majority of your employees are still going to come from the same, not only universities, because we know that most hiring, especially at the corporate level, is done by what? A reference. They recommend people. And the same thing happens with elite institutions. Most of the people that go to elite institutions are legacy, or they've been recruited because of what? Sports or whatever. Like, this is what this is the goal or the core value of the institution, is to not be segregated and to have a diverse student body. What is the problem?
One, the discriminatory aspect of it. Secondly, to undermining the narrative situation.
If it's not diverse, isn't there already de facto discrimination happening?
No.
Okay, all right.
That's not true. No.
Sure. Right. So how do you determine discrimination?
I'm glad you asked. Exactly what you said. Targeting particular demographics. That's discriminatory. That's really what it is. So 50 years ago, let me explain, because you just spoke. Let me try to explain what I'm saying so you can understand me, because you just spoke. 50 to 80 years ago. Well, you asked me a question, and you had a big spiel. So let me just run this real quick so I can tell you what I think discriminatory practice is. What you just said, essentially, but let's just go back some years, because we'll be doing the same thing, just for different demographic. There's a hiring job fair, and they are hiring only white people because they don't want to hire black people, right? And they don't care about diversity of other groups. They care about what they're targeting. If they're targeting white people, that is discriminatory against other groups. And that's what we saw. Hence, we're now saying what we're going to do, basically, I guess what we call reverse racism, which I just call racism, is saying now we're going to target other groups as opposed to what they did back then. The principle doesn't change. It's the same. If you target a demographic based on race and gender, it's a form of discrimination. I know you... When you say in DI they're targeting certain demographics based on innate characteristics such as your gender, your sex, that's discriminatory.
It's not. No, it's not. It is.
Whoa, hold on.
Excuse me.
It's not discriminatory. Hold on.
Define discrimination.
Yes, have it. Yes, we can. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
And tell me.
Because I think everybody understands what this means.
If opening up your talent pool to diversity is an act of discrimination. Get the fuck out of here! Like, that's the opposite of.
Yes, it is. Just because you're doing it, just because you're doing it to the group you like doesn't mean it's not discriminatory. Discriminatory. That's still what it is.
It's not one group.
It don't matter how many groups. If you exclude any group, it's still discriminatory.
What is the opposite of diversity, Fred?
I know what diversity is. That's why we don't like it. That's the whole point. I get it. You're trying to get something outside of. I get it. Something that's different, diverse. Yes.
What is the opposite?
I get what you're saying.
Diversity?
King, I get what you're saying. We got it.
Opposite of of diversity. Can you answer?
You gonna keep asking the question? Yes, I can answer the question.
Okay, answer it.
Diversity
No, we understand.
the highest goal.
I
It's
was
not the
talking
highest
you,
goal to
Devin.
achieve.
Free. What is the opposite of diversity?
That's the fourth time you're gonna ask it again.
You haven't answered. Like, what is wrong?
I do.
with you?
What?
Are you slow?
Because I don't need to. Because we get it. That ain't the point. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. You're gonna ask me again. I'll tell you we get it. I don't need to answer it because we get the fucking point. We don't need to do that. No, it's not a C. It's trivia. Yes, call it what you want to, but you're being stupid, acting like discrimination is not discrimination.
That's low.
But you're acting like this. Yeah, I know. The irony of this. I want you to understand what you say don't mean anything to me because I don't consider you smart. So it doesn't mean anything to me for you to think I'm low IQ. Because if I am low IQ and you're lower than me, because you don't know what discriminatory means. So you don't know that you're actually preaching it. Because the group that you like is being favored in this situation, so you don't want to call it discriminatory because the groups you favor is being benefited.
Tell me what the opposite of discriminatory is.
It's trivial. This is called obfuscation. You're gonna do this and we're gonna go somewhere else. That's why she wants you to do the stupid shit. We get the point. We get it. No, it's not bullshit. The bullshit is you trying to go somewhere else opposed to stick to the point. That's why she wants to do this.
It's a nice thing, but it's not the highest goal.
And yell instead of answer the fucking question.
No, we're sticking to a point. You wanna ask that question because you wanna go somewhere else, and this is what you do when you guys do when you have an argument. No. Yeah, you're right. I could exactly, but there's no need to because we're going somewhere we don't need to go.
Marshall,
Marshall, go ahead, Marshall, because we're not going nowhere with this idiot.
Hey, King, just got back into my truck. I just cleaned it. What's going on?
what's the opposite of discrimination?
Answer your fucking matters. Please answer, because this is go nowhere.
The antonym of discrimination, I guess, would be empowered. If I'm thinking, the antonym would be empowered, but I have to look that up to double check.
The opposite of discrimination.
Preference.
Right. Okay. The opposite is a preference. Okay. What else?
Or true preference.
She's trying to get you to say equality.
No, the opposite of discrimination is exclusion. It's segregation. Stupid.
No. That's what you're doing, though, dummy. When you prefer one group over the other, that's what you're doing, you idiot.
No, it's not.
That literally is. You're saying I'm going to target this group and not that group. You're discriminating, dummy.
What did you get in language arts?
It doesn't matter, idiot. Stick to the point. That's why you keep asking these dumbass questions. Stick to the point. No. What do you get in comprehension? Because you can't. We're good. Let's not talk to each other. But y'all see how stupid she is. She's trying to act like discrimination is not discrimination because it favors the group she likes. Okay, good. Yes, like you fucking know me. Like I don't know you, and I don't care about your history either. Because I'm not gonna appeal to your history because this conversation wouldn't matter, and you're too fucking stupid to have it. Let's have this conversation, not about my history or your history. Let's have this conversation. You're too fucking stupid to have it, and that's why DEI sucks. None of your fucking business. How about that?
Yeah.
None of your fucking business. How about that?
I don't know.
Look that up. Look up none of your fucking business.
Maybe because
Go Google none of your fucking business and see what that is for a living.
Well, King, the problem is though, is that if you have, okay, so DEI or affirmative action in a way gives a preference.
DEI is
which is, for example, hold on.
Don't conflate the two because they're not the same.
Okay. Sure. And that's why 90+% of the fucking jobs post-pandemic ended up going to minorities.
Where's your evidence of that?
Yeah, I don't know about any of that, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
I did look this. Hold on. I did look up the synonyms and antonyms to the word discriminate. So we might have a more honest conversation about it. So synonyms to discriminate are differentiate, distinguish, difference, discern, separate, discern, understand, know, comprehend, contradistinguish. I've never heard that one before. Divide, sever, set off, demarcate, mark off, grasp, or part. The antonyms to the word discriminate are confuse, mix up, mistake, lump together, confound, and mingle. These come from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. If anybody prefers the Oxford English, just let me know and I'll look it up.
So what about the context of discrimination? racial discrimination, because I don't think these people are intelligent enough to like draw what I'm trying to say.
Hey.
I wasn't talking to you, Brad. I wasn't dissing you. I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't dissing you. So you don't have to get hyped on me.
I'm not dissing. I'm not interjecting. Like, let's tone it down a bit. I allowed it to go. I was doing something else, but trying to figure out how to work a fucking crock pot. But
You still struggling with that, Brad?
fuck yeah.
Marshall, ask ChatGPT.
Go ahead.
Ask ChatGPT what the opposite of racial discrimination is.
Maybe racial inclusion. I'm
It
guessing.
would be racial preference. The opposite of discrimination is preference.
Thank you, Devin.
Well, what's the point?
Y'all still arguing?
Racial
Yeah, I've been waiting for her
preference.
to grab a song.
Wait a minute. The opposite of discrimination is
I'm pro DI, by the way.
Well, she agreed preference.
Wait a minute. No. I didn't get. I did not realize. And see what? Because he says the shit. It's what, facts free?
But no, the opposite.
No, I'm just trying to push this forward so you can make your point so we can move forward. You keep asking this question.
The opposite of
We could have been done by this.
So, like, for example, when they said,
Marshall will tell us.
King, I did look it up on ChatGPT, or my ChatGPT. I don't know how accurate this is because you have to check ChatGPT. Good question. Since racial discrimination means treating people unfairly or unequally based on race, its antonyms would be words or phrases that capture fairness, like equality and respect across races. Some possible antonyms include racial equality, racial equity, racial justice, inclusion, diversity, partiality, fairness, tolerance, acceptance, and human solidarity. In the strict word antonym sense, equality or fairness are closest to the practice. People often use racial equality, equity, or justice as true opposites.
but there's nothing actual.
That's what ChatGPT says. We have.
That is it.
No. Hold on.
God damn it.
We have the meaning from Merriam-Webster, and we have what ChatGPT said too, as ways to discuss that.
I got an idea. Why don't we just use the English language instead of trying to define the words?
Not the synonym. So can you give the synonym to racial discrimination?
Why are we playing this fucking game? Equality?
Fucking thank you.
Because we can't have
Why are we doing this stupid shit?
Jesus Christ, shut up, King.
conversation if y'all
King, shut the
know
fuck up and let me
what you're
finish.
talking about.
I'm a goddamn mod. Will you shut up? Jesus Christ. No, okay. Having racial equality, for example, would be having the neutral stance. Okay. Me only hiring white people and telling my hiring managers to only hire white people would be an example. It would be the opposite. I have a preference for my own, and it's exclusionary third group. In other words, there's two sides. One gets the preference, one gets the exclusion. The opposite is the person that's getting preferred. Equality would just be neutrality. In other words, you don't have a preference or exclusion for
The
either
opposite
group.
of exclusion is inclusion. Thank you.
What a fucking
That
world is
doesn't
this discussion about?
discount what I said.
Yeah, she said discrimination at first. Now she's switching. Yeah, but this is stupid. Just get to your fucking point, King. We've been doing this for like 10 minutes.
The English language is not a mystery. You guys can twist and turn all you want, but it's very clear. The shit is not a mystery. If you refuse to accept it because you don't like it, that's personal.
You still haven't made your point yet, King. We've been on this for 10 fucking minutes. You haven't made a point. What's your fucking point, King? Please.
And you still didn't answer the question, so.
I did. I said a long time ago when you were trying to get other people to answer it. I told you want to say input. Okay. Well, it was not a good point. All right, let's move forward.
The opposite of exclusion.
No, the opposite. No, what affirmative action in DEI was preference for dark people, and it is opposed to preference for white people. Literally, it's literally swinging the fucking pendulum in the opposite fucking direction.
That's not true. That's not true.
We also other groups are basically non-whites and women, essentially.
King, is diversity the highest priority?
DEI applies also to veterans.
Yes, we say that we get it. Yeah,
Let me ask you
yeah,
this,
correct.
King, is diversity the highest priority? Is that the most important thing, diversity?
For the left, yes, it is. For them, they don't give a shit about anything else. As long as it's not white, that's all they care about.
We do not care about the DEI. We do not care.
Joby, how many vaccines did you take?
Devin,
Yes, yes.
do you believe in the free market?
The free market.
Oh, who did that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that. I'm really getting a headache from this. I mean, either we make a point and move on, or
I'm talking about an organization.
Mine's talking.
What you're doing is changing the topic.
Okay.
No, I'm not, because you're.
Guys, the mod is talking. God damn.
Hey, there shouldn't be anybody talking when Patricia's talking. Period. Like, she is one of the four horsemen of this entire club. Let her finish. Then you guys can go.
yeah, I just want you to make your point, King, and let's just move on from it, because we're not going to come to an agreement. You and Free are up at the opposite ends of what the point of this is. So please make your final points, and if we could move on with the conversation, great.
Like what you don't like, but make sure it's based on facts. Otherwise, you're fucking crazy. You're responding emotionally.
No, you're responding emotionally with your fucking watermelon logic, and it's fucking obnoxious. The reason why people are against DEI is they have to put up with black girl magic from people like you.
What do you do for a living job? Genius. Mr. High IQ.
I fire black people for a living. How's that fucking sound?
Yeah, I doubt that very much. You probably got your GED.
Okay, but you're taking a little too long on your break to scream in your big mic. So why don't you go back to work before you get fired?
How do we get a great America? Do we get a great
No
America?
longer funding Israel.
I don't want a great America. That's how.
I ask you, it's a hypothetical
No longer
question.
funding Israel. That would help.
It's just
That would
a
be
thought
amazing.
experiment. How do we get a great America? By aiming for diversity or by aiming for greatness, merit,
Aiming missiles at
high
Israel.
quality achievements?
But that's what diversity was supposed to be for. It was supposed to be a merit-based logic, and it turned into something else, which is why I left the industry a decade ago. I did want to say this, right? Because in every room, there's people always talking about how diversity is this quote-unquote black thing, and that's just the most untrue thing. It is a white woman and a white LGBTQ. Those are the two biggest beneficiaries of diversity, both in finance and in the tech industry. This whole color conundrum where you're now starting to see black faces in the DEI space is primarily black women, and that's because there's some benefits that, depending on your institution, there's some benefits that you can get from being quote unquote a double or triple minority. Diversity today basically means anybody but a heterosexual white male that is not in the military or has disability.
Well, these things also vary by field.
But diversity includes everybody except for those people.
And I found that
I mean, in technology, maybe it is white people. I have no idea. But there's all different fields where people excel. In individual fields, Oriental people might excel. Women might excel in another field. Gay people might excel in another field. Maybe Jewish people excel in a certain field. I don't know. Whatever it is, if it's based on meritocracy, that makes for a great America.
That's how it started. Like that was the initial intent, and it has dwelled into something else, which I do not agree with. But the initial intent about diversity was merit, and today what it's become is something different.
I mean, don't you guys? I even think like the some groups do better than others in the United States. It's statistically this all bears out. and I don't. There's no real way you can try to, I don't know, I guess try to even quote unquote even things out so people are equally as educated and equally have as much money if from the different groups without you basically, I guess you could say, abusing and taking advantage of not taking advantage, how do I put it, like you'd have to have almost like an actual communist fucking country, but even then
I don't think anybody's asked for equality in money though. I think just opportunity is all. That's it. I think that's the goal. Just equal opportunities to get a shot. That's it.
Well, can I ask you a question then?
Go.
Why? So New York City, more than half of the children, the Chinese children, live below the poverty line. I learned this a couple of years ago. Yet they still outperform every other ethnic or racial group in New York City, including black kids, obviously.
Do you think it's that we're genetically predisposed to performance?
Well, I do know that culturally they spend even the poor Chinese kids, they spend far more hours studying than native born Americans. So I would say, are black children or white children in New York City, for example, not being given the same opportunities, or do they have a shittier culture when it comes to education in comparison to these Chinese kids?
Culture, 100%.
It's culture, 100%. There's a New York Times best-selling book called Tiger Mom, and it's an Asian woman author that wrote about immigrants and parenting, and listed 8 immigrant groups that have almost I don't want to say, they have a very, very intense culture as it relates to education in America. And this is a reason why people from those immigrant groups tend to excel in a capitalistic market or the United States of America. But the book Tiger Mom goes into it. It's called The Immigrant Advantage. And it's really between nationalized newer Americans in that first generation. But studies show by the third generation of that same family, they tend to have the same results as a average everyday American. So to me, what that signals is that over time, people become completely matriculated into that culture, and some of their outcomes are very similar with everyday Americans. But that sort of immigrant advantage disappears within 2 to 3 generations.
But I guess, I don't know that data, so I'll take your word for it. But is it I wouldn't call it lack of equality if I don't think there's anything we as a country can do when it comes to how people raise their children. And of course, I don't think all parents are really equipped to be good parents, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, you can offer the schools and stuff, but if the kids aren't being made to study and aren't being pushed by their parents, I think it's just...
That's the culture. That's a cultural issue.
Yeah, but how do you change that culture? Like, that's the thing, is I don't know how do you change the culture for an everyday boy living in rural Nebraska or, I don't know, anywhere in the fucking country compared to, like, these smaller, dense Chinese communities in New York City. I don't think you can do that.
I think
go ahead. Whoever was talking.
Yeah, I think you can. It's going to take a lot of effort and time. And the issue is that, I don't think people as adults, we want to give up the pleasures, because all the shit that the kids do that kind of distract them from being disciplined, ambitious, and smart is the same shit we do as adults. We like playing games, gambling, drinking, being on the internet, spending countless time doing nothing, essentially. And we have to take the initiative to kind of change our society for the youth in order for them to start following the path that we said. Because the only reason we got here is because we let ourselves be here. So we'll have to start with us to change that, essentially. Go ahead.
And I did want to say this one thing about the conflation of diversity and affirmative action. If you Google right now, and I'm not saying this to be sarcastic or sound like a smartass, I'm just saying to get some actual factual knowledge, is the quote-unquote affirmative action has been banned by the state of California since 1996, right? So anybody alive today that has gone through the college system, unless you graduated before 1996, you're not a quote affirmative action or diversity hire, right? Because people like conflating the two. It's been banned since 1996, right? Thomas Sowell has a book where he talks about the challenges of affirmative action. Him being a Stanford professor and him teaching all over, being a professor all over the United States. He talks about the challenges and why it's wrong, right? And so I agree with a lot of his points. If you put somebody who is not at the same level or at the same standard of excellence in a space where there is that standard, then you're setting that student up for failure, right? But I did want to clear: affirmative action is not a California-based thing. It's more of an East Coast, Midwest, Southern thing. But California put a ban to that a long time ago. And when I was hearing all these changes as somebody that has worked decades in the D&I industry, and it really wasn't even an industry until after George Floyd. It really was not. It was a low-paying job. It was a job where you really were a cog of HR. It wasn't a big deal for Black folks until George Floyd, right? But Black folks have somehow been labeled with this affirmative action and this diversity thing, where it doesn't matter if you're talking about university hiring, it doesn't matter if you're talking about government hiring, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the private sector hiring. The biggest beneficiary of any affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion initiative: number one, white women; number two, white LGBTQ; and number three is white veterans or veterans in general. Those are the biggest beneficiaries. Black people just got blamed for it, like the quote unquote, remember the welfare queen from back in the day? I think it was Reagan that went on this thing about this welfare queen, and it was this Black woman. You can Google this because Google and ChatGPT is free. That woman was an Italian woman cosplaying as a Black woman. The welfare queen, that whole welfare queen campaign, that was an Italian woman cosplaying as a Black woman. That wasn't even a Black woman. So in the history of America, when it comes to DEI, when it comes to affirmative action, it's only been branded as this Black initiative. But when you look at the data, you'll find that Black people are the least to benefit from any of these initiatives. And it's just a statistical thing. When you look at it, there are more white women in America. There are more white LGBTQ or LGBTQ in America. Black people got beat up for all this stuff, but they did not benefit in the same ways that other groups did. And I land my plane.
Yeah. So I will take it you're not making an argument that we shouldn't have it because of that, right? And I'm not for the DI, but I'm just a yes or no, real quick, AC.
You said what?
I'm not taking that you say we shouldn't have DEI because they benefit the least, right?
We should not have this version of DEI. We should not have this version. The DEI that my father built, the DEI that I built was based on merit, not based on what we're seeing here today.
So when you say based on merit, because it's kind of changed things up, give me a quick example if you could. What do you mean? Just who performs the best, who has the best outcome?
Right. So again, there are certain metrics that, depending on the organization you work for, you look at when it comes to making a hiring decision. The interview is a part of that. If it's more of a new hire, you're going to look at education and grades. But if you're more of a mid-level management, you'll look at experiences and title. And if you can quantify the actual performance, you'll look at those metrics as well. And so what I've seen, and you can Google this yourself, is particularly in the finance banking industry, like JP Morgan, the company that I used to work for, is there was no way that you could justify hiring a quote unquote, it doesn't even have to be a Black person. It could have been a woman. It could have been an LGBTQ. It could have been a Black person. There's no way that you could use our metrics and our hiring standards to hire this person over this person. So how is it that they got the job over X candidate, right? And so the actual CEO, Jamie Dimon, came out and said, hey, we looked at the data ourselves. We didn't hire a third party. We looked at the hiring data ourselves, and we did find that there was some discrepancy, there was some discrimination, and so we're going to work internally to fix that. But we want to let the public know that we did our own due diligence, and we found out ourselves that we do have discriminatory practices based on our own metrics that we set forward. And this happened maybe 5 to 8 years ago. Jamie Dimon did a public press conference and released an article saying like, no, we do have discriminatory practices, and it wasn't based on any particular race, gender, or sexual orientation. We're just saying that, hey, you can't justify hiring this person based on the score that this candidate got. All we're asking is, how did this person get this job over this person?
Gotcha. AC, I have a question for you. Hey, Free, can I?
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So one of the things that I've noticed, I spent a good amount of time on Clubhouse just to relax a little bit and listen to both sides. Though I'm a person of color and lean right, when I go into most of the rooms, especially the politically correct room, where majority of the population is black folks, why do they make this whole movement about everything is going anti-black? And they there are some coincidences, like for example, like where he was talking about sending National Guards and military to all these bigger blue cities, especially like Los Angeles, Illinois, and New York and whatnot. So why does there's a problem that we see. I mean, as a resident of California, I see the problem. There are places in Oakland and Compton, there are in some parts of LA that are not very safe. Yes, they are populated with black people, but that doesn't mean that he's targeting only these specific black-dominated cities. But he's talking about cities in general, like LA. So LA is very diversified, and it has nothing to do just with black people. But somehow Democrats and the people on the left spin it in a whole different way. And I tried hard to listen and understand their point of view, because they always tell me that this is targeting black people, and I have a hard time understanding why it is.
As someone born in Berkeley and raised in Oakland, California is only a city like Oakland or LA is only branded as black. There's not very much black people here anymore. They've all been gentrified out to the south. And so I don't know. I don't speak for all black people, but I will say this is, within these conversations, whether it's cultural wars, whether it's conversations about DEI or affirmative action, black folks have just been branded. Like, again, California does not have many black people. Black people are actually retreating to the south. Cities like Oakland and LA are no longer quote unquote black cities, even though they have a significant population. There's more white people here in Oakland. There's more Mexican people here in Oakland. San Francisco is actually, after white people, it's Chinese or Asian people that dominate the population. So there is no quote unquote black city on the West Coast anywhere, actually.
But somehow Democrat and the left party is able to spin it against, this whole thing is about targeting black people. I see, that's the part that I not understand, even no matter how much I explain about the situation in LA.
Because some people want to sow dissension. You sow dissension in a society, you pit people against other people, and many people from various areas of society wish to deploy dissension for their own purposes. It's political on any level. Even when it's purely social, it's political. It's trying to get your point across. I don't think I made myself too clear, but whenever you invoke identity, you are trying to sow dissension. Dissension is when people are against one another. I think I'd have to look up the word.
So do you think is it because the political party, whether it's left or right, are not being able to give the right tools for people of minority to succeed? That's why they have to come across these kind of different programs and agendas and make it part of the campaign for them to get the visibility into and consideration into the society. Where is the political party failing. Like, I mean, I'm not talking specifically the Trump's administration, but even if you were to look back at the previous administrations, where have they failed? Like in terms of empowerment, California has the most amount of programs to help, no matter whoever you are. I mean, they're okay to bankrupt themselves to the last penny, but they just want to give money and help people. But I still don't see any progress, and that has costed the taxpayers in California so much, and we're so frustrated with so many initiatives happening around with no results, and that's what is actually making a lot of us in California who work, who contribute to society and try to make an impact, to lean right, because the left has shown nothing but no results.
So, Hokie, I agree with you in so many different ways. I used to be a staunch Democrat that voted Democrat for forever, and then recently, by recently I mean the past 8 years, I've become independent, and I only vote based on policy. There's no loyalty to any party. It's kind of like being a political prostitute, where you go back and forth based on the proposed policies. You're going to make a vote based on that, and not necessarily a party. I think the Democratic Party has failed, particularly Black people, in many ways, but I'm just going to make a overarching thing. I feel like the Democratic Party caters to the emotions in people. They would like a emotional reaction that will secure votes for them. And so I feel in many ways that the Democratic Party has failed Black people and Californians. And even if you look at the last election in terms of policies on crime, like I remember there was a policy, if you stole something from somebody, but it was less than $1,800 or something, and they couldn't really do anything. I think policies like that have crippled Californians. And from a policy standpoint, if you look at how Californians have voted, just from a state policy, it was much more conservative than it's ever been. And I see that as a key performance indicator to the Democratic Party. Like, hey, maybe we've gone a little bit too far left, and we have to move a little bit more in the middle in order to gain some voters back. The reality is, I think that this is how I view politics, is a way that all Black people should view politics, because there is no party necessarily for us. It's just like, which one is better than the other. So for me, again, it just comes down to what the candidate, whether it's at the state level, the local level, or the national level, what they're proposing, and voting based on that. Because the Democratic Party, as it's been, has been something that is an emotional jerker. They want you to vote based off emotions instead of logic.
Joe B., did you want to add to the conversation?
No, I'm just enjoying the bullshit in the back channel, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Brad has stepped away for a phone call, and so I don't know how much longer he's going to be, but I think I'm going to shut it down, because you guys are getting a little too spicy in the chat there, and we all have lives and other things to do. So thank you for coming back to the Political Compass. We're going to be running more rooms a bit more often when schedules permit. If Brad is available later today, we might open something back up. But for now, thank you for coming, and we will see you again.
Okay, so first of all, C, I will give you, hold on, you guys, hold on, because this might be C's last time in this room. See, I don't know what's wrong, and I think maybe you should talk to your physician about adjusting your medication. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but before you came in here, I gave you nothing but praise. As a matter of fact, to make sure they came back,
because I was going to reach out to you so you can come in here and talk about the stable coins against everybody. If you don't have any interest, then don't come. See, seriously, you're to me. I'm talking to now a person who is not even a fucking adult. Is a child. No one put your finger on the button and press 420. Nobody. You chose to come in here, and I'm only telling you this because this might be your fucking last time, and I know you don't care.
It is her last time. It is.
Yeah, because I'm the one telling everybody that you had a very good presentation on Saturday about the stable coin, that you were very intelligent, you had all this information, and I wanted you to present it to the room. And then you stumble in here at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to tell me about how my room is a piece of shit. Well, you know, I agree with you for even allowing this conversation to happen between you and me. I'm a piece of shit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the club let out, and she stumbled out where she is, because didn't nobody take her home or take her to the Waffle House, so she up in here crying and carrying on.
Okay.
You can't save
yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that.
You can't save them all. You're not Captain Save-A.
Nice.
You are not Captain Save-A.
I tried.
Trump needs to go after these black cities. They're horrible.
Hey, Joe.
Okay, really? You're talking about horrible. Hey, girl, you were in the middle of one. So. Yeah, I mean, that's retarded that you would say that about your own people. So there's a lot of self-hatred going on. I understand it. I don't appreciate it, but I understand there's a lot of self-hatred. It's like me going into a white room. Yeah, all these niggas need to be hung. I don't understand it, but you do, and that's all that matters, okay? So whatever sickness you're suffering for, I got somebody for you. I'll give you a recommendation so you can go get help. But see, I told you about these black men that come into here and they say the craziest, stupid-ass shit about their own people, about their own communities. Just crazy.
Ain't no such thing as a black community. It's horrible.
It's not such thing as a black community. It's not such thing as a black community. Okay, there's no such thing as upstanding black men then. And you're part of the problem. And you're part of the problem.
Let me say this.
You're part of the problem. You're the black men that we need to exterminate. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. So you and your family don't live in a black community. You and your family, all of them. All 12.
We don't do black. Black is a problem.
Okay, so you black. You got a get out of jail free card?
Listen.
You black.
Let me break this down to you.
You black. You don't have to break shit down.
I know it's triggered.
You don't have
because it's poverty.
That is so disgusting. That is so disgusting that you guys.
We know Chicago is hell. We know DC is hell. We know.
You're hell. Where you live? 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 I don't want to live. Where you live? Where you live? Where you live? So if you don't live in no city, shut the fuck up.
I've been in major cities. I'm being honest, but if you don't want to have dialogue,
you're a provocateur, and you can
but if you let me finish, I'll break it down to you. But
I don't have to. It's 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. Nobody want to hear you coming here.
But isn't that your topic? Trump on black cities. I'm telling you, it needs it.
No, it doesn't need it.
It does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're the problem.
I've been in all neighborhoods.
And you guys, black people, you guys need to exterminate people like him. If you guys want to shoot people, this is exactly who you're going to get rid of right here. No, sorry. But you're a criminal. You're a criminal to our community.
Tell me how.
You are.
Tell me how.
Okay, you're coming in here and saying you can possibly bring up. You are the enemy. You're community. You're going to say that?
Lock them niggas up.
Oh, and lock you
Take
up.
away the black bitches, EBTs, and they Section 8.
Wait, first of all, call the black bitch McDonald's. Y'all need to exterminate right here.
No, I'm not a nigga.
So we were
You are.
Y'all fighting to maintain nigga.
Well, here's the deal.
You're fighting to maintain.
That's right. Niggas love nigga shit. Don't matter. Your time is up. Keep fighting this is on. No more sex in it. You're about to lose your housing.
Relax.
You're about to lose
Relax.
your housing.
Relax. Take your tattoos off and relax.
You can't keep that fella no more.
You are the kind of people that need to be exterminated.
You're gonna get kicked out your apartment.
Apartment? You dumbass nigga. I don't live in an apartment. Go
You
get
got Section 8. I know a Section 8 chick when I
I
used to
live in a
live with.
fucking apartment.
Don't let that trip you up.
It's crazy.
Section 8.
I'm just trying to show you his fucking ignorance. Now he called me a bitch. Then he tells me I live in an apartment.
Yes.
Nigga, that's the bitches you dealing
I
with.
didn't call you a bitch. I called you a college kid.
Yes, you did.
Monkey
Yes,
hoe.
you did.
All right, so is we done or is we done?
Okay, so
Yeah. Ain't nobody else sent me a time, so yeah, it's a wrap.
That was very painful. That was very painful to hear. That was way too early in the morning for somebody to come in, literally, and start calling me bitches at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, God. See, if he was baiting me, Quinn, he succeeded. That's really early in the morning. I don't even know if I'm coming or going. My hair was plaited down. I had my pajamas. Shit, I don't know. But I invited him to come back so I could apologize for my behavior. So I invited him to come back.
Well, I don't know if that's the one. Hey, man, boy, if that was the reason for the conversation or what we were supposed to be listening to. Y'all was all hype. Yeah, listen to it.
No, y'all need to listen
I didn't catch that hype.
Culturally, because she was on fire. I don't know what happened, because by that time I was already in the tub, but I could hear culturally. What's his name? Culturally, Just. Y'all need to listen to Justin and Matt if you guys want content, because Justin and Matt, I don't even know who they were talking. Oh, you know who they were talking to? Who was it? Maya was it Ion or was it somebody else? I didn't even know it was Ion. Okay, yeah, I don't know, but that was crazy.
All right. Would y'all sleep? Y'all done? I wasn't gonna say that, doctor. Yeah.
Let me get my phone.
I gotta take a bath.
Can I say something real fast, please?
Yes, Brooklyn. Gone and say.
But you've been here too. You were wilding out too. Y'all go get Brooklyn. She was wilding out from the beginning.
I'm gonna tell you this though, Lisa, because this is for you, okay? Now, take a seat. And you decide that it's in your best interest to apologize to that nigga for that, something wrong. Like this is like victim. This is like when victims like keep getting victimized knowing that it's they victims. You can't let these people do that to you. He called you everything but a child of God and you was about to, you gonna apologize. You bet not. Don't apologize to him for that.
I think I called him a nigga first, right?
He desired, and he thought like a nigga. He thought like one. It was well deserved. Believe that. You do not apologize for that, because the coolness of the whole situation was some bullshit. Like the nerve of him to come up there and say any of those things that he said from the get-go. Yes, he was a nigga, big nigga energy too. And he could be from any country, any color. At this point, he was on some bullshit. So please don't apologize to him for that. Don't. If you ever decide that you want to apologize to people for telling them about themselves, contact me first, because I'm going to tell you not to do it. You don't never apologize to niggas like that, ever.
But you guys must know him because Dap
I
came
don't
in
even
my
know
back.
him. I don't even know who that was, but that besides the point, they all trolls at the end of the day.
Because Dap came in my Brooklyn, came in my back channel, and I don't know if he wanted what he wanted from me, but he said that, oh, you know, I know him, he's a nice guy, he was just trolling you. I said, well, he called me a black bitch. I mean, what do you want me to do with that? And he goes, oh, you know, but he's black Hispanic. I was like, okay. What? But you know, he was just in there trolling you, just having fun. I'm like, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't even play with people like that, though. Don't play with me like that. These is grown people, adults. Okay? Like, I only take for so much of the bullshit, neither. This is why some of them, they know, you know, my patience get real low. You are grown adult men and women, and, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need to start acting like it. I'm not taking no fucking trolling as an excuse. You dumb. I don't give a fuck. You shouldn't have got on the internet to troll nobody. Now all bets are off. I'm shouting your whole fucking lineage out. That's how you treat them, like dirt. They're nothing, nobody. You talk to them as such, and then you dismiss them and make them go away. That's how you treat them people. You don't fucking be nice to them. Y'all gotta start being nice.
You know, seriously, my therapist told me to take a break from the clubhouse. It's like, you are not built for that shit. And I'm like, yeah, in so many words. But, you know, I felt out of body at the time, and I didn't feel comfortable with what I was doing, but I just didn't have any self-control at the time. So you know, some of the things I said, coming out of my mouth, I felt uncomfortable with, but I said them. So, you know, like fuck you and nigga and all that kind of stuff like that. I mean, when I do that, I don't feel good after that. Brooklyn, I don't. I mean, you guys might think whatever, and I really don't care at this point, but I don't feel comfortable, you know, doing stuff like that because after it's over, it's still with me, and I can't release that. So, yeah.
And then y'all have Blue on stage? Oh my goodness.
Who is Blue?
I don't know.
Gemini is here.
Oh, well, I know Blue, and Blue is...
I'm so tired of you. You don't come in my room anymore. What is going on, Gemini?
Black folks and us black folks.
This is the second time I've been on the app in a while.
I know. So...
I'll come in your room. I just haven't been on the app. I'll be listening on my burner while I'm working because I've been outside trying to get my shit for real.
Not the burner. Can somebody
Man, I was
get
spinning the block on a burner because I am outside getting my shit together trying to be productive. But look, I had to come to say this real quick. You can't apologize to these hoe ass, bitch ass, weirdo ass fuck niggas on this fucking app. You gotta put them in a small box with one stamp and kick them the fuck on. Like, what the fuck? And all these Packers in this room letting this motherfucker come in here and talk crazy like that?
Oh, join now.
Y'all really let motherfuckers come in here and talk crazy like that? All these Packers in this room.
That's why I
Y'all let
miss
this
you so
goofy ass
much, you
motherfucker
know,
come up
because
here and
you
say that
always
goofy ass
jump
shit.
in.
If she let the replay play, they would have showed him and talked to him after that. They stopped the replay right at the point where we stopped talking. Me and Just talked.
Oh, okay. Ain't no way they should be able to get that kind of shit off in the room without being made to feel the small little fucking piece of shit they are in that small little box they belong in. And that should be kicked to the curb. You don't place that outside on your front porch. Fuck that. And you definitely don't apologize to that fuck nigga. At all.
No, you don't ever apologize to him.
talking about your apartment and all that shit is crazy as hell, man. These people on this app got no fucking life.
But at that point, we knew what he was doing. We just told her not to respond to him because he was trying to bait her in.
Yeah, he was definitely baiting. That's a fact.
That's what I'm saying. With them kind of people, you just remove them, put them in the audience. Just don't even talk to them. They're not even worth conversing.
But you know what? I don't think he's capable of having a conversation to really validate his points if somebody systematically breaks it down. Like, you really have no points. You're just articulating bullshit that you've heard and repackaging it in more bullshit.
Which is why you just put it on the audience and don't talk to him.
Sometimes give them enough rope to dangle, man. I like to watch their feet kick while they.
Yeah, but he's not talking about anything. He was intentionally trying to be. He was trying to be inflammatory. That's the reason why we just said don't talk to him. I give people a service by actually talking to them.
By giving them enough space to breathe.
Just don't even talk to him.
Yeah, he said some shit that should have. Yeah, his head should have been twirled.
What are you guys talking about?
It's a lot of self-hate, a lot of self-hate just being spewed, man. Self-hate.
Well, I don't know.
It's sure.
Hey, I know I'm coming in here, I'm looking at the title, and then last week we had that conversation about how many black women Trump has dismissed from the government in high-ranking position, and here he goes again, another one. I mean, Trump has literally gotten rid of every black person I knew who was in leadership in government in the federal government. He reassigned some to lower ranking positions, and he outright fired others he could. He doesn't want one black woman in any position.
Wasn't that what the gerrymandering was about in Texas?
Yeah, trying to get rid of Al Green and what's her name? Jasmine.
Crockett.
Yeah, I think that was more that than
Crockett.
getting the seats. Because he wanted to get rid of Crockett. So, and he knew that she would always be reelected in her district. So this is like a backdoor kitchen table meeting that they had and said, oh, we can do this on the slick and plus get more seats. So that's what I think. And I was in a room, I don't remember whose room it was, but they were talking about the overall plan of this administration and connecting the dots. And I kind of like stole that from them because there is a concerted effort to either eliminate or to devalue, and I think it's devalue more the black community because with the no cash bail system, if you're marching, the RICO Act, deportation without due process, all that stuff is going to start manifesting itself once people start getting arrested, start lifting up their voice and lifting up their heads, and pretty soon, children being tried as adults. So if you put all that together, and also bringing the police and the military into your communities, if you add all those elements together, you're fucked. No cash bail. Your kids are going to be, if they're out there marching, treated as adults or whatever they're doing, because he said, oh, look at these gang of kids. No. It was kids out there. I played the quote. Kids were someplace out and about in D.C. And he said, look at these kids. And he goes, no, then he changed it into gang. Then he changed it into thugs. And then he said, once they saw the military or the National Guard, whatever, they ran back to where the hell they came from. It's like, this is where you talk about our children. I mean, no, and to me, I'm starting to feel it and understand that it's personal. It's personal. So if you add up, like, once again, backtracking, if you add all those puzzle pieces together and you put them in order, this is bad news for the black community, period, point blank. He doesn't like blacks, and he's showing you in roundabout ways how he's going to dehumanize you, demoralize you, devalue you, and put you in, like you were talking about, boxes where you belong.
But this is not the only. Today, you guys listened to his speech today while his cabinet meeting, when he talked about how he's going to return education to the states. And obviously, when you look at the states and the cities, especially the blue cities and red states,
they're gonna seriously underfund schools in those cities. Because, I mean, Trump is a considered effort. And I tell people that it was they started with first trying to devalue us in education. Lately, you know what meme I see circulating among the right wing? Memes about black women are not the most educated. Blah 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 blah. Those have been just proliferating around the right wing, and I could always track to see what they're talking about, because when I see people that I know who are right wing who push this shit, what they're saying, and then you see the meme factories start making memes on this shit, and then that's how a lot of them actually get that information out there, memes. They share it with their friends, they think it's funny, and that's how it just permeates through this spirit. And the thing about it is that people don't understand that the restriction of blacks at, say, Ivy League schools was done for one purpose. You know, because we could say that, hey, we went to your schools, we went to your best schools. Why shouldn't we have a seat at the table? But to deny black people access to those schools, now black people are going to say, well, I'm as equally as educated as you are. I went to the same prestigious school as you are. Why shouldn't I be able to apply for the same jobs? So now, and then in the same time, they were saying that HSBCU schools are undereducating black folks. They're not. You don't get a real education when you go to those schools. So one, they want to prevent us from going to their best.
Hey, what's up, Walter?
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just about to go sit in the sun. What are you doing?
Yeah, what's that interview I had with that guy?
It's with the college down in the Normal. Oh, are you talking about the one on the YouTube now with George Steinhardt?
No, the other guy, Benjamin.
Oh, that's coming up. That's in Normal, Bloomington Normal.
How big is that?
It'll be good press. It's worth it.
I mean, how many people look at that?
It doesn't matter. It gives me credibility because it's with a name brand publisher. So it'd be stupid for me not to go down there and get that publicity, because that's how I build my resume going forward, you know?
Oh. And what about, they could do interviews over the phone or what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
But they want to get me cornered, put me in the booth on the college. You know, and I'm like, haven't you guys heard of the fucking internet? You fucking Stugats. We got to be efficient here.
Stugats. Everybody's making alliances right now.
I'm about to gas up Aaron Delmar real good. I got a gas tank with me. I'm about to gas him up.
Yeah, about what?
Well, he got into an argument with Mark.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I'm going to overlay the audio of Aaron Delmar screaming on top of his images, and then everybody can hear what Aaron Delmar sounds like when he gets angry.
Yeah, how's that? When you know that digital stuff?
It's just filming. You're just overlaying audio with video. It's very easy. I'm going to do it actually right now. I was going to do it last night, but you reminded me. I got to gas up Aaron Delmar for Mark.
And then what would that do? Make you go angry, like, ah!
Yeah, when Aaron Delmar sees it, he'll have like a migraine, and he'll be like...
They're nuts, man. Anything else is happening?
No. Got some paperwork I got to do.
What's your stuff?
No, lawsuit against the Treasury Department, Scott Besant. My manager, she called me a whore, so I sued them.
Why you gotta send that?
I got to send it by the end of the week.
What is it for?
It's a lawsuit against the Treasury Department, Scott Besant.
Why, he owes you money?
That's what I claim. I say he owes me at least 1 year's salary. I should have asked for 3 years of salary.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm going to update the amount to $210,000 now that I think of it.
Well, that's nuts, isn't it?
It's not nuts. They got to get a law. They're legally required to give me an attorney and pay for it. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
That's the kind of rights you got when you're a government employee. You know, you are the government, so they give you the full service. They don't give a fuck how much it costs.
So what happened? You just.
No, I'm filing a grievance for harassment.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's all law. It's lawfare. It's funny. They had books on it inside the office. I was like, you know what? I might need these.
That's nuts, actually.
These things happen all the time. People, you know how much Congress has paid out in sexual harassment lawsuits over the past 20 years? Like $1 billion.
Wow.
All right, well, listen, I'm going to send you the link to a room that I'm in right now because I'm recording it. So I will talk to you soon or see you in the room.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.
I pay my dues, but I had a family member just retired. She was the CEO of her chapter, her regional urban league, and so it's just in my family it was like, hey, you're going to be active, and I don't know about everybody else, but there are regional, like Dr. A.G. was saying, and regional chapters. I just encourage people to reach out, and sometimes they may not be loud, but they are active.
And these organizations, you know, they are the people, and they can only do so much as they have the people power to do.
And listen, there's an era that has happened.
I haven't heard anything from them, though. I don't understand what we're saying.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I just said what I said.
What do you
I haven't
hear?
heard.
I don't understand.
What do I want to hear? I want to hear them say anything. It's like, have they said anything about what's? No, seriously. I mean, I know you guys.
I'm being quite serious because
I'm serious
the Urban
too.
League
I haven't heard nothing.
The Urban League is very engaged in the lawsuits, as is the NAACP. They are very engaged in that action. So they have partnered with other groups to deal with that. And they're also engaged in trying to strategize private partnerships to create opportunities in the gap that's going to be made with all of this stuff that's happening with the federal government.
But they also can't do anything without money. So along with membership goes, along with the lack of membership comes a lack of funding. So people don't participate in them. They don't give them money because over time we have allowed, this goes hand in hand with a lack of education. This goes hand in hand with the being propagandized. We have examples of that on stage as we speak. People who have succumbed to the notion that these groups are old and that they don't serve a purpose anymore and that they're not as vocal, even though they're doing the real work. As Dr. A.G. has just so eloquently laid out, they do a lot of the work behind the scenes, and they do have people that come and speak on people's behalf. There have been instances where the NAA has supported Sabrina Fulton during the time when Trayvon Martin was killed. There's a lot of things that they do, and countless others after that. They were involved in Mike Brown in St. Louis. There's a lot of if you're looking for things that they do publicly and visibly, they do a lot of different things. But we have to understand what they are and what their function is. They do exactly what they can do with the lack of membership and with the lack because they're not funded well. They've not been able to evolve into the new time period.
I mean, this is the information age. I'm sorry, Jim Amelin. This is the information age. And there's a lot of ways to get, to reinvent your organization, if that's what you want to do, and get the word out there. I don't know what's going on because literally, if you start asking people to get involved, if you start making yourself more visible and your message more clear, there's nobody else. Never mind. I'm going to go on mute.
I'm just saying you're not wrong. You're in the right path there.
One second, Quinn. I do think I would love to see them more visible, but they are absolutely taking steps to try to fight Trump. Like 1,000%. They're not inactive. They did file a lawsuit against the DOE, right, for cutting off the funding, right? And they really pushed back against DEI when that came out. We might not have heard about it because it wasn't as publicly broadcast, but they're actually doing the legal work. Like they're filing the lawsuits that actually contest the actions that Trump is taking right now. You know, so it's not as publicized as we would like to see it, but they definitely are fighting Trump.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they can't do that without new blood. Like, you're talking about people who were involved in the 80s who are now in their 80s. You know, you need new blood. You need people who understand the importance of it. And it's not everybody, but they just don't have I mean, when people say that, they always look at them as eternal organizations who will continue to do the work no matter what. But we don't often understand that we are now the people who are supposed to be the people involved in that. And many of us are not.
It's their charge. It's their charge to get, if they're 80, just like, oh my God, I don't want to have this conversation, but can I just say this part? Just like Maxine Waters, she's getting ready to, I guess, retire. I'm not sure when or how, where, but just like we're saying, you have to bring, you're the emeritus, you have to bring people behind you, and you have to know how to get that done. That's their charge. It's not my charge. It's their charge. So let us know what's going on, what you need, what you want to do, whatever, and then I'll be there to support. But I don't have the expertise in this. I don't know the ins and outs of nothing of this. That's their charge to educate me.
Respectfully, though, the people that are in the NAACP and the Urban League, they're not all 80, right?
No, they're not at all.
I have three students who are a part of the Civil Rights Division, and they are the ones who do the legal cases. So not everybody is old. And sometimes you have to go to the place where the information is. And somebody put something in the chat, and my comment was, clearly you don't know what these organizations are, what their purpose is, and how they work. Because the NAACP and the Urban League, they're not going to be blasting on Instagram. They're not going to be blasting on social media. They're going to put out informationals. They're going to put out updates, and that's how they work. There's a very narrow line. I didn't interrupt. There's a very narrow line that these organizations have to walk in doing the work that they do. And so I guess I just don't get it, because they have a website that announces what they do, where they're appearing, what their conferences are, what their conventions are, what the projects are that they're working on. That, like Quinn said, they ask for public donations to support their work. I don't know, and I will confess to a bit of, and I've said this before, like a bit of impatience when I hear, as I often do, I hear people talk about inaction when there is clearly action. And being uninformed isn't always the responsibility of the source about which you want the information. There's labor that goes into keeping oneself informed and active. And I just had this conversation today, and my comment was, get up and find out. You can find out. The information is out there, but sometimes you have to seek it. It's not just following your lap. So I admit my impatience around this, because this is something that I'm consistently confronting, and it's very aggravating. And I don't.
And Dr. Angel, just to be clear.
Can I ask you, as an instructor and somebody in it, so these young people don't know anything about that?
That's not true. That is not true. College campuses have have NAACP sections. They have college division.
Not all college campuses. Not all.
Lisa, let me bridge the gap.
There's not one on Berkeley. There's not. I'll shut up in a minute. I'll shut up in a minute because I feel like I'm getting pushed back, and I welcome it. I don't have a problem with it. But every kid doesn't know about the NAACP, and it's not on every college campus. It probably is on a college campus. I'm not denying that, but I know the ones that I'm active on. I kind of look for these organizations. I want my kids to know. I want them to be involved. But that's not the case. So every college campus they're not on. I'm just asking, this the way we're in the society right now, with the way we disseminate information, you're saying that we need to get out there and find it out. But a lot of kids don't know where to go to find this kind of info. They don't know about none of that. SNCC, NAACP, Urban League. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you are wrong.
No, I could be wrong, but am I the only one who's wrong? You guys are not 17.
Can I just say this about the
Miss,
university?
you're right.
Can I just respond to this about the university? Can I just respond to this? So you're correct. Every campus in the country doesn't have a chapter of every organization. You are absolutely correct. Most cities, if you are located near a major city, there is some arm of the organization that is present. My point, and this is what I actually tell students, that you have to go out and get active. And so it's not true that young people on college campuses are not engaged with these organizations. A lot of young people use these organizations to introduce them to leadership if they are interested in that sort of thing. So the campus orgs are their avenue for that. So a lot of these young people are active in campus organizations, and the social justice organizations are a very popular avenue for students, and this is across demographics, right? So at my institution, for example, the NAACP chapter was so active, they demanded a meeting with the university chancellor, and every month they met with the university chancellor to discuss what their issues were with the campus culture. So it's not fair to say that the young people aren't engaged. It's just not fair.
Well, I never said that. I said
you did. You said they don't know about it.
They don't. Ma'am,
and I'm saying that's not true.
Okay, so the people that you know, I don't know every student.
But Lisa, it's not just people that I know.
I'm talking about the people that I know, because that's my only resource. I cannot talk about people I don't know. I cannot talk about colleges I don't know. So your population is smaller than mine. Probably.
Yeah, because I advise organizations, and so I know how they coordinate across college campuses across the country. So there are very active young people. That's all.
And I'm aware of that, and that's what I'm trying to curate within my own situation. But I just admitted that I don't know everything, and I don't ever claim to know everything, and I don't want to, because at that point in time, then my time on this earth is over. But what I'm saying to you,
it's not about knowing everything.
No, I'm just saying, okay, let me go.
Let me say this real quick, right?
No, real quick. Like,
Hold on, Ja. That's a moderator talking.
Real quick. I hear both for their sides, because I totally understand what Dr. AG is saying. They are active. They do have a Instagram with a couple million followers on there, right? I would love to see them I know they need a budget to do this, but have a budget to reach out to the influencers, because a lot of the times the young people are more in touch with, like, not just an isolated social media page, but they follow certain influencers. And if you can get them to reconvey that message, I think it would be heavily impactful. The Urban League last month did put out a state of an emergency PSA. It went out onto major news networks. They say we're under attack, right? They are part of the lawsuit against the DOE, along with the NAACP, that was filed in February, right? This hasn't been like big news because they don't want to highlight this in the news, but this is happening. So there is pushback. But on the other side, on the flip side, like what Lisa's saying, I understand too. Like, I would like to see them in more locations. I know they need funding to do so, and I know they're soliciting and looking for it, but you have to really go out there and actively look to support them, right? Because they don't have the funding that they need. There is no, like my daughter goes to UCLA, there's no NAACP chapter on that campus. None. Zero. Not even student rent. Nothing. Right? They only are listed as off campus. My daughter complains about that. So I see both sides of the coin.
Well, but go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what I'm saying is without young, like, new people that want to join the NAACP and all that, it would die. You need new blood in that. That's the truth. And then, you know what I mean? I raised my nieces and them. They're all college. They're getting their masters. You feel me? So, like, you know what I mean? I went to school for a little bit. I got an associate. I just in calculus. Like, I took statistics. I took all that. So, like, I'm just like, now I'm a little older. I'm just like, some of it didn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So I'd rather just work, get a family, and raise them to be successful. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a man. Like, what's the point? What is the point of that?
That is what I've been asking this whole time. The reason why the NAACP, first of all, the NAACP never had to be on college campuses to be relevant. So people sought out the NAACP to be a part of it because of what we're experiencing now are younger people who some of you parents haven't explained to them the importance of the NAACP, and probably because you haven't seen the importance of the NAACP, and it's because people don't think it's relevant in its time because you don't actually know the work they're doing. You're not seeing them on TV. You're not seeing, but you do see them. You just don't know that you're seeing them. I guess maybe that's not the best explanation, but they do very important work. They've been doing very important work. It's just when people think that they're not doing something according to their whatever they think that their stance for activism is or speaking out on certain issues. That's not the only work that's being done. There's a lot of work and very important work that has been done by loudmouth people or people who are very quiet, and they do have times when they are loud too. So that is a little bit confusing. So there's times when they do their work and they're doing the real work. So we just have to get by and support them. They shouldn't have to find us. We should find them.
No,
so in transparency, I've been a member since I was.
Money makes more money than labor. So you got to make money to make money.
This doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, sir. Respectfully, it doesn't. Nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It does.
Let that man speak. He raised his nieces and nephews and put them through college. Let that man speak.
I'll go after
I tell him all the time. Yeah. Money makes more money than labor. That is true. Regardless how you think about it.
You're wrong for that.
That is true. There is no point of labor if you could use money to make money.
I'm going to follow up on what Quinn. I'm going to follow up on what Quinn was saying. I don't know I'm not as in depth with the NAACP. I know they're good, but I know more of the National Urban League because I had one of my family members. We actually interviewed her here on the app a year or two ago in one of my spaces. She's since retired from her position in the National Urban League. They do a lot of good in their respective chapters. My aunt, who was the CEO of the chapter in her major city, she instituted a shoe program for the youth, for not just African American youth, but she opened it up to anyone who was in need. Especially in this time of going back to school, making sure that kids from families of less means had all that they needed. They have a youth program where they're getting youth involved. In her chapter, or I should keep saying her chapter, she's in her former chapter, they have financial literacy programs. They have helped young people, especially young Black people, take one foot into home ownership and that first step into wealth building that has so often passed us by because of redlining and other things of that nature that have held us back as a community. So this is something that I recognize my own biases because this is something that I've grown up with within my own family structure. but I know that's not available to all. But they're just looking. I encourage. Oh, well, I was about to say open up the yellow pages, but Google your own respective city. If there isn't a chapter within your own city, see if there's one nearby. Mark Morales, the head of the overall National Urban League, they have something going on. I think by the end of this week in Harlem with Right, Wrong, or Indifferent with Al Sharpton and Martin Luther King III. If you get on the emailer, if you become a member, you're privy to this information. And that's just to anyone.
Brian, open up the yellow page.
I had a question.
Crazy.
I had a question to Dr. AG.
Good to see you. What's up?
Dr. AG, do you believe that those colleges don't have chapters because majority of people that are there are white?
I think that that's some of it, yeah. Because the student organizations can only be founded by students. So, I had I'll say that anyway. Yeah, student organizations.
Yeah, I'm asking because I know UH has a chapter, so obviously we know UH is majority Black and Hispanic college.
And a lot of the schools that have them, the chapters are older, and the students have just carried it. So there was a school actually in Indiana that they were like revitalizing theirs. They were bringing theirs back. This was like maybe 10, 15 years ago. They were bringing theirs back because it had languished, and they were renewing it. And so there is a resurgence of it. But yeah, that's why it's the student population. And different universities have different rules for how to form student organizations, but at most universities, you can form a student organization with as little as 5 people. It doesn't take a lot.
My high school had a chapter. I was a part of it. We've been paying dues with the national chapter since I was a senior in high school.
So basically, are y'all here? What happened? Yeah, we're here, Brooklyn. Okay, so basically, it would take for the kid to want to be involved, but then it will also take for the parent to, kind of encourage them to be involved in something like that. So if that's not happening, then correct. And you would also have to encourage your child probably to go to a school that has, more of the Black community. But the majority of the Black community. But they got local chapters outside of college. So you can do it outside of college. But I believe that it's also the parent encouraging the child. The child don't want to do something. That's what I'm saying. Like it would probably be based on the parents' involvement. So it's like a trickle down. If you're not involved, if you're not really telling your kids, you're not pro-Black with your kids, then your kids ain't pro-Black either.
Yeah. But I was looking at this now because earlier you were asking her. I thought that initially because UCLA only has like 5 to 6% Black, right? So I figured that must be why they don't have a formal NAACP chapter, right? But then I started doing my research, and there are a lot of HBCUs that don't have a formal NAACP chapter. So it's not just a percentage, right? That's not it. They have to. It's usually student initiated. And if the students aren't, like you said, being parented in that way, or they don't have mentors or affiliates that are moving in that direction to kind of motivate them to organize and seek out formal affiliation with the NAACP, it doesn't happen. It's usually student initiated. It doesn't matter if it's, like Dr. AG said, 4 or 5 students. It doesn't matter. As long as they initiate it and formally affiliate, you're there, right? But they're just not being motivated to do so, or they're joining other groups and they just have other focuses. And that's more the problem than the amount of Black students that are there.
And honestly, being uninformed just really can't be an excuse, especially as a Black person. I feel like, what'd you say?
I just said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so it's like, I don't feel like people should have to be motivated. Like, you should want to do this. Like, you see how that black people have certain issues in this country, brown people have certain issues. So that should motivate you. But I feel like we debilitate young people by, saying things like they don't know, so help them. Like, pass it down. Like you said, information just does not fall out the air. You got it. Any information, even information on Instagram, you still got to go get it. You have to reach for it, and if you want to verify it, you have to research it further. So I think that's kind of our problem, is that we are so oh, it's not right here, in front of me. So oh well, they don't know about it. It's what? I don't even know that type of thought process. Go out and get it, find out somebody doing it.
And I think this is one of the things I've recognized, because being 76, I've now taught several generations, and these 18, I would say these 18 to 24-year-olds and other people thereabout, but for that particular demographic, they are some of the most uninformed, claiming having access to information people I have ever met. They have access to more information than even I could have imagined accessing, and without doing any work. They don't have to leave their homes, right? They don't even have to be home. They could be in a public restroom in McDonald's and access information. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I, as a Gen Xer, I think Gen X has to take responsibility for the poor education of their children, the poor foundation building and rooting their children in a certain cultural politic and a certain black politic.
Amen.
These people run around here talking all this craziness about black people, about black. And it is no wonder that because they disseminate this information so widely that we are in the state that we are in. So yes, it is the parents. You have to get your kid anchored in the tradition and encourage your child to work, to create and continue the Black Project, which is access to the franchise and the privileges and rights of citizenship for everyone. And if you're not doing it, your kid's not going to do it either. And your kid going to find kids who ain't doing it. And then we going to be fucked up sideways in the world.
You mean just like we are now, Dr. AG? You talking about now?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So how many of y'all are card carrying posters of the NAACP in here?
I'm actually proudly still a member.
And the Urban League.
I'm a member of the National Urban League.
And the National Council of Negro Women.
Yeah, my daughter.
I'm the National of Africa. I'm African certified.
I'm certified African.
Urban League. Oh, that's mercy. I'm also a member of I'm also a member of Oh, okay.
I'm not trolling, I'm sorry.
You sound. I'm also a member of the
Let's just continue with our membership announcements.
I'm also a member of the CBC. You all can be a member of the CBC as well.
Well, I'm not a member of anything, but I'm still hella pro-black.
It's not even expensive. It's really not expensive.
I'm just not. Maybe I'll join. It really isn't. But
Patty, you trying to speak?
I hope this will inspire people to seek out.
Yes, I'm inspired, Dr. AG. Thank you so much.
You're
honestly, I'm inspired. No, seriously, I'm inspired. No, seriously. I already said, and I may need to join an organization at this age in my life. And why not? You know what I mean? Especially now.
I'm sorry.
It makes sense. So please don't talk to me. It makes sense for me to, join something like that and be involved in community outreach. I mean, I've done community outreach outside of all of those organizations, but it wouldn't hurt, you know what I'm saying? And join. I'm not tripping.
And let's be clear also, it just because we're in the information age doesn't mean that people are going to be informed. To Dr. AG's point, I mean, that you can have information at your fingertips, but you don't have any guidance. Information without guidance is useless. You haven't been guided, and parents don't direct their children toward those things. And if they don't know, then obviously how are you going to, the blind can't lead the blind. So there are people who don't understand the importance of guiding their children, not just to being part of organizations, but understanding in general. So when you don't do that, then, there's only nothing to continue passing along. So, I mean, they have all the information at their fingertips they want. Don't matter. Nothing you can do with it if you haven't been guided, you haven't been shown how to use it.
You know what I mean? I raised them basically, but they're all she was a student president. I made sure you gotta be, what's the point of even being in council in school if you're not the student president? And I told my nephew, what's the point of playing basketball if you ain't the best? What's the point? I look what's the point? You know what I'm saying? You gotta be the best. And they became the best. He became the best. That's what it is. You gotta be what's the point? I average 17 points a game. You can Google me. It ain't no joke.
What the hell going on?
I'm a Brooklyn on this. I mean, listen, I tried calling.
You can Google me. If you're gonna do something, be the best. What's the point?
Absolutely.
What are you doing it for?
Totally agree with you, brother.
I think this is the under 24 that Dr. AG was speaking on. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Well, here's the thing. Even if it's trolling, during a serious conversation, it's still juvenile. Just because you don't have the ability to participate in adult conversations, and then you try to
get your kids involved
it's crazy.
When you get them involved when they're young, in some of these organizations, they when they go off to college.
You're in the Matrix, Patty. You must have rolled into some bad.
When I was little, my mom had Martin Luther King Day. I'd have to do little paintings that they would auction off at their because they always have their annual gala. When I was in Fort Stewart, or when my dad was in Fort Stewart, and I went down to see him in Fort Stewart, they have this thing in South Carolina where they have this big dinner right before the Masters, because the Masters is it's a bunch of, or some kind of thing they have at Hilton Head. It's something like the Masters. You know what I'm talking about, Dr. E.G.?
Yeah, they have. I think it's Ted Turner who does that golf tournament. That's what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about, the golf tournament?
You can't pay the bills with words. You can only pay the bills with skills.
Someone can move him now if they do.
Can you pay the bill? Wait, you gotta, no, wait a minute, hold on. Let me say something real quick. I've been real quiet. And I listened to this conversation about the education. And I agree, the Gen X has a responsibility when it comes down to the education. But I also think when it comes down to emotional intelligence, that also needs to be something that needs to be an example. And the example that is shown in this room on a constant basis is not something that I would want the generation that is coming up to resemble. Why? Because it doesn't look good. So you're constantly complaining about somebody else, but nobody's looking in the mirror. Carry on.
Is that for me?
It's for whoever wants to take it.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be anybody specific. I don't target people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and I'm putting it out there.
Okay. For my money, if again, and that has a place in the conversation as well. But for my money, if we're having a serious debate or a serious conversation, and there are people not interested in that, and visibly so, I think removing them is probably a better option than engaging them, and especially when it's not in good faith. If it's in good faith, that's a different approach. They just can't participate in the conversation, or maybe don't have the information, but are willing to learn. Totally different thing. But when people are doing what this cat is doing to my right, that's disruptive because he doesn't prioritize sensible conversation, and he clearly does not participate. It clearly doesn't prioritize that. It's disruptive.
Let's just recalibrate. Let's refocus. Patty, your internet was going in and out, so we couldn't hear. You were saying something about if you start them early.
Yeah, if you start them early, a lot of times these kids do things on their own. Like with my daughter, when she went off to college, she was like, I'm gonna join the Young Democratic Party. So it's like, she's joined that. She's like done this too. She's part of some black something union something, because there's only so many black kids at her school, right?
Black student union.
Union. She does. She volunteers at the Boys and Girls Club for tutoring for kids. There's a lot of things that they do on their own if you start them young, and it's something that they take the initiative to do it. If you start them young, right? So even when I was a little kid, who actually got us into the.
You're gone again.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yes.
When you were young, who actually started?
Yeah, my mom paid for it. She was the one that paid for us to join the NAACP. And we would go to a church once a month, and they would have meetings. This was before the phone calls and then the monthly meetings, because now they do this mass phone call and you get to hear like what's going on, what the agenda is. But back then they didn't have the monthly phone calls. It was once a month. We had to show up, dress up, go to this church, and they would have the meetings. And it was an Asian woman. It wasn't my black dad. So like, I don't know. And I think it's good to get your kids involved in these things, and they'll take initiative and do other things.
Patty, shout out to your Asian mom for keeping you connected to the culture. She did a good job.
Yeah, but she don't.
But I'm saying she wanted you to know it, and that's what's important.
But that's like part of the point. It doesn't matter that she didn't know the culture. She knew, to get you involved.
Yeah.
And a lot of these parents, they don't be teaching their kid about no pride about being black. And so when the issues that people don't understand that there are specific black issues. Everybody want to be different. And that's fine. But we're not going to get anywhere trying to separate ourselves from the things that are actually uniting us, whether it be through struggle or whatever. But I think that saying that people don't know about something has never been and should not be an excuse now. And I think that we need to really rectify that.
I think a lot of the parents aren't proud of being black themselves. A lot of them want to be racially ambiguous if they could. They don't want to stand next to a black community, identify with the black community. They want to distance themselves as well. So you can't expect them to relay that type of information to their children. Their children are probably following suit. They're watching the way their parents move and are doing the exact same thing. They're not proud of their skin either.
And I feel like that's why people didn't understand Kamala, because one thing that I will say about her that irritated me the most is when people would try to say she wasn't black and bring up the fact that she was the first Indian woman, because you can be both. You can have two heritage heritages or whatever, and being, entrenched in both of them. Like, that's the beauty about being a human and having a brain. But everybody just thinks that because she said, I'm the first Indian woman, and because she, likes, is proud of her Indian heritage, that she's not black. And that just to me is very indicative of how people don't understand what being black is. And I feel like when I was growing up, when I was younger, even non-black people understood blackness and that we had a certain pride about ourselves. And I don't see that anymore at all. Never, ever.
We're living in the post-Obama agenda. Those are espousals from people in the post-Obama generation. Like those, and don't get me wrong, there's some people in our generation, there's Gen X people who believe in the same thing, but there weren't as many of them because we saw a different world than they've seen. And we're just at that precipice. Like we're almost 20 years removed from that, from the election of a black president, which for not only for some white people thought that we were in a post-racial era, but there's some black folks who thought we were in a post-racial era. So there are people who are raising their children without the knowledge of who we actually are, compounded with the fact that we have piss poor education and the pride that comes along with knowing who you are. So, and there are people who think that they've arrived and that we're in some post-racial era, and that they don't have that knowing being black doesn't mean the same thing, or it just means that I'm, an American.
Quinn, let me ask you this though: what would that matter, right? Let's say Trump is a black advocate. He is on our side. He's pro-black. Everything he's doing is to empower minorities. Let's say that, just hypothetically. We all know that's not the case, but let's just have that conversation. You still should be very, very, very adamant about them understanding who we are historically, what history has done for and to us, and how that we are viewed, period. No matter if it's post-racial, pre-racial, current, like it doesn't matter. That's still a very, very important part of who you are, who we are, who they are, how the world views them, what makes us us. No, that's still super important.
You'll get no argument from me. What I'm saying is that the visual, the fact that we've had a black president, and there are people who are now almost adults who were born in that time, at the time that he was president, who were just born. There are people who are almost 18 years old. You understand what I'm saying? That since that's what I mean. So there are people who've grown up in a post-racial Obama era. I mean, who've grown up in a post-racial Obama era, who think because we've had people running for president who have actually been president, that somehow we're in that post-racial era, so that it doesn't mean as much as maybe some in the generations before have claimed that it is.
And not to mention the fact that we're in a society now where all of a sudden Black Americans in particular, Black people, wherever, can't talk about, what their ancestors been through, the oppression that they went through. Oh, they looking at us like we want a pity party, and we just telling the truth about history. And it's our own people that's doing that too. Oh, you don't need to exhibit a slavery. Why you want to always be the victim? How many times we done heard that? Like, this is the type of shit that we going through right now. Where's other populace of people all over the world, and they went through shit too, and they get to talk about it. They get to show what we came out of is different for us. They got people that don't want to watch movies about slavery, because we wasn't slaves. We got people saying that this shit ain't happened. We got other groups of people saying that we from Israel, goddamn, we was born here. It's all this shit going on at the same time. And it's just like, it's disheartening as far.
Because nobody has been taught. I'm gonna say this real quick. Sorry, Dr. AG. I was just gonna say, because we don't know any Black history. There's nothing you can tell me about Black people. Nothing. Absolutely nothing that would make me not want to be black or be ashamed of that. You could show me the worst situation in Chicago or the slums. It's never going to make me not want to be black. I'm never going to be embarrassed. A lot of these people are embarrassed. The way they talk about black people, the way they refer to them you can tell that they're embarrassed. I'm not like that because I was taught about being black from very, very small. So I don't have, and I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I don't have a lot of the inferiority complexes that a lot of people have because that's what I know from beginning. From before I knew about George Washington and those forefathers, I knew about my actual ancestors. So I really do think that it's important that you know these things because like even what Patty was saying, her mother, not even a black person, pushed her toward these things because she knew what her child was going to face in life. And so now as an adult, you know, she knows these things. She has these things embedded in her as a black person. And you can't take those things from a person, and those things, they always stay with you. If you have none of that, if all you see and all you associate blackness with is Sexy Red and hip hop, and then you may have a hard time, even though that still doesn't make me feel no type of way. But you may have a hard time grasping what we're so proud about and what we're going on and on about. But to me, black culture is the most beautiful culture, and everybody should know about it, not just black people, but the fact that our own people don't want to know or are so embarrassed and just talk about us like we're dogs. It's sad to me. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, that's also, I always say this, man, and there is as active or more active, a more pronounced, a more deliberate effort to miseducate people, way bigger than there is to educate people. So Brooklyn, what you hear, and in line with what Just was just saying, what you hear is the byproduct of that. Is people not having any pride in who they are because they just don't know who they are. They don't know anything. All they know about black history is what they see in their current world. That's it. And that's sad. Like to us, that's foreign because we learned black history. We saw black people. Some of the people that black history are people that we know, that we got to experience ourselves. So I mean, it's just it is disheartening, but to understand it gives you a little bit of gives you a little bit of reprieve. But it's disheartening. It's crazy to listen to, but. And I had to remember, I'm like, we're in an era post a black president. There's some people who think that signifies that was the end of racism, which is insane.
Brandy, I don't know what you mean by the face of blackness. Like, I don't think there is a face of blackness. I think that black people, I think that y'all don't understand. To me, that's dehumanizing to think that we don't have a myriad of people. Like we have an Ida B. Wells, so we'll have a Sexy Red. We're gonna have people with varying values, that ain't gonna line up with what you think. Like, that's what being a human is. Like, some people are different. Some people, why I don't understand why that's so bad to black people. I really, really don't get that.
Well, because she's approaching with a different mind, though, Jess. You see the stuff she wrote earlier. Like her question is, why should we watch slavery movies? Is that empowering us in some way? Like this, she's exactly what we're talking about.
Actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did say that. You said it's only a few small facts.
Super empowering.
You said exactly that.
You
It
literally
builds,
said that. I just ignored
it
it.
builds resilience, it builds determination, it builds stick-to-itness. Okay, is my mic broke? Okay. I'm sorry. And I think that's the problem with these young people, is that they have a heightened level of insecurity and anxiety about their status as citizens because they do not understand the power that they stand in because of where they came from. And that is a problem. When you begin to see your history, right? When you begin to see your history as an impediment, you are lost. You are lost.
And so we have people that look at our history as Black Americans as an impediment, so they're making up shit. They're just, grasping at straws, pulling things out the air and calling themselves this fully thing that they have never even grew up in. They're actually taking what we had, the way we cook, the way we dance, the things that we say, and they're making it their thing. It's just like, I get so frustrated with a particular group of niggas on the app. Let's just say that. I'm really trying not to even talk to them right now, even though one of them is in the chat. Because you all have this idea of Black America that is not Black American, and it's so obvious, and then you try to take things away, expressions about things that is obviously there, like boats and shit. How else did anybody get over here if it wasn't for a boat? It's so fucking frustrating, y'all. Y'all just don't even understand how pissed off I be most of the time, and most of these lame ass conversations with these lame ass people.
So what I said was, no one wants to watch a slavery movie every Easter. I know I don't. I didn't like when I was the only maybe 2 or 3 Black kids in class, and then the teacher fucking rolls in the television and we watching a slavery movie, and now everybody's staring at me, the only Black kid in the class. You're like, I don't like that. I didn't like that feeling growing up. So no one is saying do not teach. No one is saying take away history. No one is saying don't know where you come from. But why is it that we lead with the most horrific event that happened to us as people? Why can't we lead with excellence and still know our culture and our history at the same time? That's like waking up every day looking in the mirror. Slavery? Being beaten?
Y'all, wait, hold on.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
That's like waking up every day, looking in the mirror and saying, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I can't do nothing. Oh, I'm going to go.
My friend who's leading Holocaust educator.
Over yourself if you're constantly, I'm not saying you people, but there are people constantly live in this mentality like, this is what happened 400 years ago, this is slavery. At what point do you detach and say, yep, that happened 400 or 500 years ago, but that's not what's happening to me today? And I'm going to teach my history. I'm going to teach my kids. I'm going to let everybody know, and it should not be removed from history books. It should not be removed from museums. But we should not lead with that. There's so many Black excellent inventors and doctors. Why don't we talk about that? There should be, every time we watch a movie, it should be about that, not us being beat, raped, killed, and destroyed as people. It doesn't make a difference.
You haven't heard of the word.
Let Dr. Edgy go, and then I want to reply to
Just one point. Brandy, one of the first doctors, right? One of the first virologists, if that's what you call them, in this country was an enslaved person. So slavery is a story of excellence, right? But we don't know that history because that part isn't told. But that's why we have a responsibility to tell the story. So I don't get what you're talking about when you say don't lead with that.
Because
that is the excellence. That is the excellence, though.
That is excellent. Really quick, hold on to Dr. A.G. Now, I didn't even know that. Now, we led with that this is a story where these excellent people derived from, and this is how we blah blah blah. We don't hear it that way. What we hear was we were slaves, white supremacy, oppression. We were beat. They took everything from us, and blah blah blah. It's not. I'm not saying we should not complain or we shouldn't fight, but it's more of a complaint and a woe is me. Then we came from this shit, and look who we are today, and we keep on striving. Not saying you people in this room, but the overall majority of Black people, when you hear and talk to them about struggle, it always goes back to look what they did to us. Be here, Head Start, blah 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 blah. Instead of, you know what, we came sessions from shit and look at today, and we keep on making, we keep on making strides to be better people. But that's not what we really get, Dr. AG, and we know that.
Why do you not look at that as a critique on how it's, the way it's being taught, who's teaching it, and, when you said that they roll out the movie and the people stare at you, why are you not, that's not your fault, that's them. They're ignorant. So, to me, that's the fucked up part right there, that they make you as a Black person, you feel bad about something, and that is overcoming. To me, when I see slavery, it's like, dang, Black people are well represented in every facet of America, and we came from that? That's the biggest story, I don't know, I look at it different.
Absolutely. I have a really
Wait, this is a Black conversation.
It's absolutely
please,
vital.
Thank you. So I want to know, have you guys ever heard of the word perseverance?
Absolutely, yeah.
Overcoming.
That was to my point.
Can you please, Austin, please? Listen.
Because I do want to hear him, because he's going to make a point I want to make.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Austin. I'm going to let you go.
I have the floor for a moment.
Okay, hurry up, because I got to go somewhere. Make your point.
Oh, cool. One of the most wonderful clubhouse rooms ever. One of the leading Holocaust educators in the world, Sammy Steigman, he spoke about how surviving the Holocaust, he likes to use the word, he's a survivor of the Holocaust. He doesn't use the word victim. He doesn't think of himself as a victim. He was a victim, but he, in his mind, his mindset is survivor, perseverance, etc. And that's what I have to say. And Sammy Steigman's awesome. He's one of the coolest influencers on Clubhouse.
I just want to follow up. I want to follow on that. No, it wasn't. I'm not going to say why. Because one of the things that we as Black people have to acknowledge is that we have, many of us, and this goes to Brandy's point, many of us have internalized the shame of slavery as our burden. And his point goes to the way other people who have suffered such inhumanity, they didn't do that. They didn't make it their burden. Rather, they reminded the offenders that it was their sin. And I think the thing that Brandy is describing comes from that, comes from Black people thinking that having been enslaved indicates something inherently bad about Black people, rather than understanding and constantly driving home that the fight, the desire, the persistence and dogged determination to own other people, to depersonalize, dehumanize those other people, right? To recognize their humanity, yet not treat them as humans, that means there is something inherently wrong with those people. So I think this notion of how we talk about our experience, right? How we talk about it amongst ourselves, how we listen to other people talk about it and don't correct them, feeds into all the stuff that we're talking about as well. The history part, what the young people are doing, why the young people don't know their history, all of that. I think it is connected.
So I take that a different way. So I don't disagree with your take on that. From what he just introduced, meaning Austin, it sounded as if Austin is framing. First of all, Austin, I'm speaking. I would. No. I was speaking for Will.
I just want to say, Austin, hold on.
Be quiet, Austin. I'm being very nice, my brother. I would like you to be quiet. Thank you. So Austin is framing from the beginning of his conversation, framing this as if, when he used the example of the Holocaust survivor, as if Black people present themselves as victims. That is never a narrative of Black people when we refer to slavery.
Brandy
We talk
just
about
said it though, Quinn. Brandy just said that.
Well, right, but Brandy assumes the mind of people like Austin, Dr. But the reality is that we don't.
You're misrepresenting.
We do not present. I don't care what anyone is saying. We do not present ourselves as victims. That narrative has come from racist white people who have framed us that way because we have spoken about our history, because they have a problem with it because of the way it makes them feel. We do not frame. That word has never associated us with us. We have never framed ourselves as victims.
That's not fair to say, but that's not fair to say in the 21st century, because you have Black people running around here telling other Black people to talk about slavery is to claim victimhood. To talk about
Hold on, Dr. AJ. I think Mel's off the machine.
to talk about slavery is to claim victimhood, right? So there are very many Black people who are doing that. So I don't think that it's fair to say, I don't know if this is the right place. I don't know enough white people. Yeah, I don't think that that's fair. I gotta go because I gotta.
Thank you. And my name was
Really
Richard,
quick.
and I was misquoted.
Wait. To Quinn's point, you're absolutely right. But that's the loudest people, Quinn, are the ones that have that victim mentality. That's what you hear more of.
I don't see it.
Maybe not in maybe not in your circle.
I'm just waiting. But
well, the whole woe is me, and they're not coming from the place that you guys are coming from. Like, we came from this and we are here. They're coming from, I can't do this because this is what happened 400 years ago. That's more of what you hear. And that was my point.
Brandy, to be fair, right? I hear what you're saying, and I've heard that stance being taken. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to us, Black people do be victims. Woe do be them. Like, honestly, it is not as easy for a lot of people as it may have been for us. Like, I don't understand why we can't come to that reality. We live in this individualist fucking mind life. Like, everybody around us that is going through something is going through it, and it's all their fault. Systems do be against them. Things do be happening, whether we like to admit it or not. Like, I make fun and jokes about people that want to be whoa, but I understand too. At the end of the day, people really do be going through shit, and that's what y'all need to keep on the forefront. This is what y'all voted against as well, because you wasn't thinking about those people that are actually going through the things that you don't want to go through. You didn't consider that at any time, at any point in your life, that you could be that person too, and you could be going through some shit. Y'all be thinking about the now, thinking that your Black skin is not a hindrance to you, but it is. Whether we want it to be or not, it is, okay? You have to come to that realization. Things are being held back from you just because you are Black alone. And I see that you might be blinded to it. It might have been easy for you in life. You might have not experienced racism, but when other people tell you that this is happening, hear them out. And you didn't. And so you voted against it, and now it's all coming back to bite all of us in the ass. This is the shit that this is the problem when you don't listen.
I literally did not vote against it. I did not vote for Trump, but doesn't matter who we vote for, right? Because if it's happening regardless if Trump is in office or Kamala. It's still white supremacy. All these things are still happening.
It shouldn't happening. If the Democrats was in the office, the shit is happening.
Would have been happening. Come on. Well, it's still maybe not in maybe not in your face, but it still was happening. It may not happen. Trump was more in your face about it.
He's erasing laws to protect our people, Brandy. He literally is erasing laws that was put in place to protect us, and he using this whole immigration thing to convince niggas that it's a good idea, and it ain't. Like, so what? Somebody else get to fucking experience the freedoms that we as Black Americans fought to fucking to have. So what? The fact of the matter is the freedoms were in place and again taken away from everybody because a group of people felt that somebody else was getting what their just due was. That's stupid. That is dumb. We are marginalized. Okay? We are marginalized. We are a group of marginalized people. We are constantly under attack. Constantly. You know that as a Black woman. You're a Black woman. You hear all of this shit that be going on the internet. You walk outside, you see how people might treat you or look at you. You see how men might look at you. You don't need a fucking statistic or a fucking poll to realize that this shit is actually happening. That's what I don't understand. Like, you can't say, I'm done with people saying that the Democrats and the Republicans are alike. They are not. They are not. They are not alike at all. They are not.
And again,
okay? And I need y'all to really come to that realization because it's not true. Stop saying it. It's not true.
Absolutely, Brooklyn.
Yeah, and go ahead.
When you made a very good point, it was moderately divergent from what I was expressing, yet it was brilliant, and I thank you. I just want to say what I said.
Well, I would be open to understanding because the way I heard that, and maybe you didn't mean it that way, but when people compare our circumstances to people for whom we do not have the same circumstances, that is what the way I receive that. You can't compare my people to any other people in this country because none of them have had the same circumstances that we've had. Not only that, but people like the gentleman you mentioned are in a position to say that they are survivors because at some point that indignation came to an end for them. It is persistent in our current reality, whether some of us whether want to acknowledge that or not.
An important point I mentioned when I was speaking earlier is he was a victim of the Holocaust. He survived and lived and didn't have a high statistical chance of surviving. He was a victim of the murderous attack of the Nazis. Yet he survived. And in his mind and mindset, he uses the word, I'm a survivor. I don't think of myself as a victim. I don't use.
So what is it that you're trying to espouse by saying that? I guess as what I would ask you. What exactly are you saying in comparison to in comparison to the conversation? What would be the purpose of it?
I was chiming in after hearing Brandy's earlier.
Right, but what I'm saying, what Brandy is saying is incorrect as well. I'm asking you based on what you responded to with her. What exactly are you trying to espouse? What is it that you're trying to say?
Well,
by giving us the example of that gentleman who was a survivor of the Holocaust versus people who espouse, are you saying this versus people who have been involved, who are descendants of slaves, espousing that they are victims of slavery? It would make sense that those people felt that way because those things persist into today. The effects of those things doesn't mean we haven't gotten better.
When he's a motivational speaker, his mindset is I survived.
I understand that. That's not what I'm asking you. I am asking you, as you introduced that, how, in comparison to what we're talking about, what is the relativity?
As you said, I don't believe it's very possible to compare. The cogency of it, thinking about curriculum design, which is where I got into.
What I'm telling you is that he didn't internalize it any differently than we did. We don't present ourselves as victims. We don't. We are the most solvent people on this fucking earth as far as I'm concerned. We don't present ourselves as victims. When we speak about slavery, we don't do it in a way to say that we were victims of slavery. We don't present ourselves that way, much like the person you're talking about presents himself as a survivor of the Holocaust. We are survivors of slavery. We are the descendants of slavery. Descendants,
which was the point I was making, the mindset of I survived this.
Right, but you're comparing. Go ahead.
I joined the conversation when Brandy was discussing curriculum design. I'm a liberal. I actually saw on the British Broadcasting Channel that trigger warnings make a lot of sense, and there's a way to add trigger warnings to various things in such a way as to not disrupt the media. I think it is cognizant. I think it's an important thing to be cognizant of, graphically intense depictions of slavery, and that being in the school curriculum. The teachers ought to be relatively thoughtful about it, and it's an intense thing to have survived.
But I don't even understand this whole notion of that you get slavery, and I went to I was in two different school systems.
I chimed in where the curriculum design. The curriculum design thing showed up.
So
it's trying to whitewash history.
Go ahead.
I think he was commenting. I'm not talking about him, no. I was just talking about when Brandy said that on Easter they would show just slavery. It's unfortunate. I can't, speak to our experience because I wasn't there. And it's unfortunate that that's what you learn. But, we learn from beginning to end. That's how I grew up. In school, we learned from beginning to end, meaning, yes, it started some classes, it may have started off in Africa. Some classes, it started off with slavery. But the progression, the seeing black people go from being at the bottom of the barrel, but fighting for their freedom and, raging against the machine. They did that then, and they did it as history went along. So I always saw from the slaves to right now, I've always saw us as warriors in a way, not taking no shit, figuring a way around the shit. This is what my history teachers taught me, especially in my predominantly black schools. But this is what I was taught. So I don't even understand this notion of, is that what they just showing you? They just showing you slavery? That's unfortunate. It might be something that the parents need to address, especially when y'all insist on sending y'all kids to these mixed race schools. You got to make sure that the curriculum of your people is being taught correctly as well, because if it's not, then it'll end up a problem in which, Brandy has faced.
Brooklyn,
I grew up very, very, very pro-black. My mother had me at every Al Sharpton march. I used to go listen to Louis Farrakhan. We went, believe me, when Amadou Diallo got shot up, we were right there. My mother had me front line and center. So I got it from both ends. I understood where I came from. I understood our history. I understood everything about it. I was kind of making a joke like Easter, how they play Roots all day long. That's what I was talking about. And in school, yes, they used to roll in the television and we used to either watch Roots or some other little slavery type of cartoon shit. And I grew up in the Bronx.
Yeah, they also trying to passion of the cross or whatever that
I think you're speaking about how it made you feel versus what
right, and that's what I'm saying.
But that's not the same thing, though. I can appreciate how it made you feel. But that's if I'm showing you a movie that's historically correct, I'm assuming that it was historically correct, and it just made you feel some sort of way because you were in a room full of white people who don't know how to receive that and then look at you crazy or made you feel some sort of way about it, doesn't mean that the presentation itself, it's how it's being presented. That's the problem, not that it was being presented. That's the problem.
Maya said, hold on, let me read what Maya said.
Filtering.
I think it's a, hold on, Austin. She thinks that it's a problem of how people internalize it, and I think that's what it is too. It's being internalized in a way, and I guess it has something to do with, how people grow up, or so people, how they engage in their community. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it's definitely an internalized feeling because when I saw Roots or like Mississippi Burning, I wasn't like, oh, I'm scared of white people when I say Mississippi Burning. I wanted to burn some shit down. It made me radical as fuck, at least for about 3 days after I seen the movie. Yes, you understand? I was very volatile. At any time, anything could happen if I was in the wrong place of mind. But it didn't make me feel like, what I'm saying, we weak people. No, it made me feel like these motherfuckers keep trying us and we need to do something about it. And that's how a lot of us feel. A lot of us pro-blackers go and we have this, like how Jessa just blow up and go crazy because he hella pro-black and he want things good for black people. We have like this fight in us that we got from knowing our history, knowing that our people fought through all of those adversities. Like, so it is an internalized problem, and that might be something that we do as a community need to address and figure out a way to, I guess, make people feel more safe when they knowing about our unfortunate history. But they need to know it to know how we fucking came up. Like it's necessary to be a Black American or to be a Black person, period, to know this history, to know how we prevail in spite of all of the things that was thrown against us.
But again, that is, you can internalize it if it's about how it's presented to you. And listen, I have this issue. And I'm recognizing that all people are different. I may acknowledge that. But if you learned or had the same education that I did from home, because we had a Black education at home, and when it was presented in school, much like the way it was with you, I could then talk to them about what I knew in school. That never made me uncomfortable. There was never a reason to internalize that. I agree and understand that not everyone had that. I recognize that. I'm just saying that is the fundamental problem. It's how it was presented, not that it was presented. And that makes, if that makes folks internalize something differently, then so be it.
Can we be honest? It also determines on a child's age. 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, your parents can tell you every day that Black is beautiful, be proud. But if all of your classmates then turn around and call you nappy-headed, big lip, big nose, nigga, everything your parents taught you, believe me, that shit goes away. As adults, yes, we can say, oh yes, I was strong, I'm this, I'm that, because you're an adult now. You can care less what your peers think. But as a child growing up, that's not the case. Kids can't just turn it off and turn it on. Very few of them can. So that was my point. As a child in middle school and grade school, that was the worst feeling. Seeing that TV come in, knowing they were gonna put some bullshit on.
So, but here's the thing: it wasn't bullshit they were putting on, and that's what you're speaking to the mind of a child.
Right. I'm talking from my child, like
right. I just acknowledge that. So what I'm saying is that again, at the risk of being redundant, it's the way that it's presented, not that it is presented. So no matter how it's internalized, what I'm saying is that the way it's presented makes a difference. The way that it's presented to you makes a difference. If it's being done in that environment, that is obviously a hostile environment. It was meant to fulfill an agenda or fulfill a part of a curriculum, not necessarily to really teach. Because if that was the case, then you felt that way. Well, that's a much deeper conversation. But I'm just saying that in general, that our history is being taught, and that we continue to let people know that, much like our Jewish brothers and sisters let people know about the Holocaust on a regular basis. It is important for us to keep our history before our people, and in the right way. Obviously, that goes without saying. But the way it's presented makes a difference.
What you told me, Brandy, I'm actually, very sorry you had that experience. But it just, this is why I always will tell people to go to a HBCU. And I don't care, because you need that reinforcement. Listen, I got picked on just, too. It wasn't about having nappy hair or nothing, or being black, in no ways. Maybe, so I feel like it's important in your formative years to be around people that look like you, so they can't, because that does have an effect on how you, I don't give a fuck how, I don't care how white people view me. Beauty wise, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And I will never, because I think I can't, but I really care about how black, I really care about that, because I think that's important. Just not to be racist or anything, just because of black people's position in this country, because they're gonna always, especially our women, they're always gonna do that. They're always gonna be like, oh, you ugly, you this, they're always gonna do that to our girls. I hate that. And I think that because of that, let us be around each other, because that's not, we're going to still do, things like what kids do, but it's not going to be that. It's not going to be nothing that can follow you through your life and, affect how you feel about yourself, because it's nothing wrong with your fucking hair. There's nothing wrong with your fucking nose or your skin or nothing like that. It's actually, it's nothing wrong with it. It's human skin. It's normal. Some people may find it more attractive. But I'm just saying, it's interesting to me that that's what they say about us. It's like, because I guess I grew up around black people, and I just grew up looking at my mom and my aunties, and they was fine to me. Not fine like I wanted to date them, but I was like, they the most beautiful thing in the world, and all their friends and my mom's friends. So when I see black women, I don't see that. I see the opposite of, I guess, what the world sees, or what, not the world, the white, what the world presents. I see women that are a level above. And I'm really not even being trying to be racist, but that's just how I view it, because that's what I was fed. That's what I grew up seeing, is black women, and hearing other black women big up other black women, saying how beautiful that's all I know. So I don't know any other, none of that. You could show me the worst slave and the most down bad thing, doesn't fade me at all. I don't care. And I wish that for every other black person. I really, really do, because a lot of the things that people say about us, and this could be Delulu. It really could, but I will stay in my delusion. I look at it as jealousy. I really feel like people want to look like we do. Just going by the things that people do, I think that people want to look like we do. I think that we have the most beautiful women in the world. I think we have the greatest hair, the greatest skin. I really, really think that. And it may be crazy, but I would love to stay in my crazy. And I wish more black people would join me here, because the way that they have made us look is just not, it's just not how I see us.
Me neither, just I always like the darkest people in the fucking room.
Yep, leave mine in the oven a little bit longer. I don't want nothing. Sorry.
I'm not the same way, but this needs to be, at this point, that's why I think I go so hard with all of the ignorance on fucking Clubhouses. It'd be like, y'all really just go too far.
And Pure Blood talking about his mental programming. Okay. Okay, well, if we're gonna be mentally program our children with that because running around telling black girls that are absolutely like, it's so many girls I see that walk around and be like, they said this about me, they said that about me, and I don't view it like that. I'm a whole gay person, and I don't view it like that at all. So run it if that's what if it needs to be diluted or whatever, then fine. But having these women walking around here thinking that they're less than or because of whatever the fuck they do, they wear wigs, they wear weave, to me that's ingenuity, that's creativity. All of those things that other women wish that they had. But we have this terrible view of ourselves, and and we always talk. I just don't see it like that, and I really wish that it just y'all would fix it.
Apparently, what we're missing is the internalized racism, Justin. That's what we're missing. We're missing the fact that it's internalized and that it's become a problem over years, and that apparently we're missing that part of it. We're excusing that part of it as a part of. I don't know what that's supposed to excuse in relation to this conversation, but that's apparently the part that we're missing.
I mean, yeah, and I think that more of us should just be missing it, especially black women, because they be doing the hurting on the black girls. It really do. I don't know if it affects black men as much because of just we have a whole nother situation that I could talk about, but the way that I see it manifest itself, even in my little cousins or whatever, like, I always have to be in her ear, like, because she's very dark or whatever. I constantly have to be like, and I always will, like, telling her how beautiful she is, and she is. But she'll go to school and have, somebody be done said something crazy to her, and she'll come and ask me. But because we are like, she's our queen. We'll never, she went to school like that, knowing that she was beautiful. She'll come and ask me like, they be saying my hair is nappy, but in more of an inquisitive way or things like that. And I always got to be like, they don't even know what naps are. Like this girl got hair down her back, thick as, it's like she has hair, beautiful hair. But it would be eating her up. She black and all this other stuff. Yeah, black is beautiful. Black is shit. Tell them you black as fuck.
I'm just curious as to what that's supposed to excuse or explain. Not what you're saying, Jess. Not you, Jess. That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking to the internalized racism in general. Like in terms of us presenting ourselves or feeling like victims. Most of the time, that doesn't manifest itself that way for those black people who feel that way. That manifests itself in self-hate. It doesn't manifest themselves in well, I guess in being ashamed of who they are. So, but what is that supposed to excuse? Or explain?
It just, to me, it just the way that these things. I don't know. When I hear Brandy talk, I've heard other girls say stuff like that. Like I worked in like a barbershop that had I've heard like just this in conversation, and I'll be looking like, now. And to me, it's like, oh, she said that to make you like, because she knew you was bad. That's what I'm thinking. But these women have really internalized it, and I'm sure some men have too. But I see a lot of women, they called me black or they said my hair was nappy. So fucking what? Like, so what? How they like? It's a lot of things that we can say about them. We don't have to like, do the whole go to hell. But why are we? That's why I don't like the weave conversations. I don't like you wear blonde hair, so what? Y'all made us wear this shit. We was minding our business. We used to have afros and be living in mud huts if y'all would have left us the fuck alone. Or whatever the fuck we was
Florida, you gonna stop. I'm sorry, y'all. You gonna stop. I'm gonna tell you something. Don't play.
I said what I said.
And I said what I said. Bye. You gonna have to come back tomorrow because I'm not doing this with you today. not gonna be disrespecting Dr. AG like that. She ain't do nothing to him.
Yeah, he think being black is about marching. I just don't know.
He don't like his damn mind. He's goddamn Korean. He need to worry about his damn kimchi and his goddamn his doggy. Always talking about what she said is right. You have to fit in these spaces.
So because maybe I had gone away from the phone, but what did Dr. AG say?
He was talking about how, how to basically check somebody without going postal at work. That was it. That how they got this stigma on black women, especially the strong black women, and we so confrontational. She was speaking to how to confront someone without, meeting that stereotype. I don't think. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing at all.
Yeah, he want her to be a fool.
Oh no, that's stupid.
Yeah, how you doing, miss? They call me Job in Laden.
We know. You back?
Always some fucking body with the bullshit. I swear to God.
I remember him.
She's beautiful. My mom tells me that all the time. Even as grown as I am, like she'll talk on the phone with me and she'll be like, "My pretty baby, you're so beautiful. I love your face."
Listen. One thing, none of the girls in my family, if they grew up in my thing, they ain't gonna never be worried about no little rusty ass, none of y'all little rusty ass sons breaking their heart. One, cause I got the blizzy and I'm pulling up. And second, cause I don't they know they cute. They gonna be fly. If they need something, I got you. Don't worry. You ain't never gotta lean on no nigga for nothing.
My mom FaceTime me and said, "I just want to see your smile, so pretty." Like, shut up, leave me alone, mommy.
Yo, can I say something real quick, miss?
Go ahead, babe.
Allah Akbar. I'm joking.
Ain't you the dude who was saying you hate gay people yesterday?
Yeah, I'm all goofy for that.
Oh, boy. Start firing your ass up and you ran.
Nah, I'm just fucking with y'all, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
But do you see that there's a serious conversation going on, though, brother? Real talk. Do you see if we're joking about something, that's one thing. We do that here. But if we're having a serious conversation, you think it's room for that silly shit? Real talk. I'm asking you, man to man. We having a serious conversation. You know how annoying that is when people having a serious conversation? You sound like a child. Interrupting a grown people's conversation, but it's not relevant to what we're talking about.
Ask the question.
But you're doing, you know what you're doing, man. You know what you're doing.
I asked a question. Can I say?
But we were having a conversation.
Don't let my DTR confuse who I am.
But we were having a conversation. Don't get serious now. I'm asking you a question.
I've been serious.
Well, you haven't been. That's the problem. We're having a grown people conversation and you're acting like a child.
Being grown by asking.
Now you are, but before you're being an asshole.
No, I asked a question. I said, "Ma'am, can I say something?"
I hate that. I hate that. That is annoyance, and it's probably one of my largest pet peeves, and it probably makes me annoying to some degree. When I'm having a serious conversation with serious adults, and grown ass people act like fucking kids when they come in and start talking, and this is in real life or on this app, that annoys the fuck out of me.
You allow the PTR to control your judgment of me, bro. Calm down.
I'm not allowing anything, brother. I don't know you, nor do I care to. I'm listening to what you are saying.
Then you will understand everything that I said.
Okay,
I asked.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that. So.
I got you. Y'all want to get back to the original quote? So, conversation, or y'all want to move the conversation somewhere else? What do we?
Oh, I'm okay with moving forward the way we were. I'm just the people disrupting it who have a problem.
Hey, Mr. Harris.
Nice. Hey, how you doing?
I'm really South Sudanese, right?
Hey, go on mute, Ja.
I'm sorry, man.
With the thing Justin was talking about, I really never understood how people, well, our women specifically, could allow anybody to kind of like, in one face, try to belittle the complexion, the curvature, the hair, the voluptuousness of our women, and then in another face, they're trying to literally mimic what our women are. I just find that very funny to me, like where the tanning booths, with the lip injections, with the butt implants, they're literally mimicking our women. Changing of the hairstyles that we can do. It has always been funny to me that in any face that somebody could say, "Oh, there's something wrong with that," but everywhere else in the world they try to mimic what our women look like. I thought it was funny, and then the complexions, the tanning booth, the black skin has always been just something to marvel at. Like, I don't know, man. And my mom was kind of fairly light skinned, to be honest. Like, my dad is actually the dark one. But man, I just always found it a dark skinned woman so just to me impressive. My wife is actually kind of light skinned too, but the girl that was close, she almost made the cut. Was probably she just had the most beautiful complexion I had ever seen on a girl. It's just funny to me. I don't understand how we allow people to kind of say that on one face that, oh, this is wrong, but then they mimic everything we do. Everything about our women is mimic. It's just like, it's funny. I just want to say it because I never got it. I never got it. I've always been loved on. The summertime, I'm dark as hell, and I love it. My sons actually want to be as dark as dad. Like, oh, look, I'm dark as dad now. Like, they love their darkness. Like, it is crazy to me. And I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, by the way, but it's just like my family, I have 7 siblings. My sister's 4 sisters, 3 brothers. Like, we have never, ever thought less than of our skin tone or anything about this. I'll land there.
But y'all ever heard of Kimberly Crenshaw? This intersectionality that she talks about when it comes to Black women, like our experience with racism and sexism. So, like, a lot of times, like, when it comes to feminist spaces, we're often overlooked, right? And they're dominated when it comes to white women. So, like, it's like an internal thing, right? So even with me, when I go to work, right? I may be the Black girl and there's 2 other white women. And then I work with a bunch of white people. And it's always going to be the blonde woman that stands out, right? That they will listen to. So we call it, like I have this one sergeant major, blonde, white girl, blue eyes. And they always say she go to Parade Pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
goes to what?
Parade Pretty. So it's like Parade Rest.
Yeah.
She will go to Parade Rest, but it's like she'll lean the shoulder over, she'll lean her head over, and she's like, I'm just wondering, when can we? And it's like, she's gonna get her way. And then with me being a Black woman, it's like, I don't want to do that because there's this like stigma that's going to be associated with, especially with the other Black guys. It's like, oh, you trying to get your way. Man, it's like dick to get so hard. Like, it's like really retarded, right? So it's like, for me, I have to be like, hey, that's not how it goes. Then when I stand at attention, I'm going to stand at attention. I'm not going to lean my shoulder to the side and lean my head over and be like, hey, like, can we do that? Like, this is that, I promise you. If I record this girl, let me tell you, one time we were doing combatives. And she put her hand on her chest and was like, I've hurt my chest so bad. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, if I was to do some dumb shit like that, people gonna look at me different. They just, like, with me, I'm looking at her like, bitches, you crazy. This ain't it. But it's like, you gotta understand, like, sitting in a Black woman's position, like, when you're, everyone.
Okay, so we just got 3 inches closer to our phone. Do tell. There's nothing to tell. I have at times on this app allowed the crazies to talk amongst themselves with a little bit of modding. So that's the crazy parts of when I was on this app. And then
She says she does replays. I'm adopting her serendipity. Just Grace, do you run your rooms with replays?
I haven't been on in the past 4 months, 4 or 5 months. So
Which has been
yes,
on like every day for the
I
past
run
2 weeks.
replays. I put on replays because people used to not be in the room sometime, and they wanted, a lot of the rooms that I was in did a lot of comedy, real comedy, not people who are obnoxious.
Nice.
Yeah, we need comedy.
It's official.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It's official. We're keeping you.
Okay. You are really nice people. I don't know how I didn't get to you earlier.
Well, it's funny because as you were talking about, sometimes I just let crazy people talk to other crazy people. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, if we did that all day long on Clubhouse. All day
And
long.
that is why I'm here, and you are my people.
Yeah.
A little bit of
I'm glad you
craziness
popped
and
in.
good fun is good. And I found my way to you, so that is the best of the day.
That is the best.
And Mr. Steve, I miss you. I haven't heard you in a while. I haven't been up.
Miss you too, Grace. Pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, always pleasure. Always. So, happy hour in the muff, REC. You have to make sure about this. Serendipity ED.
Hold on, I got
Mr. Steve and Alan hanging out with these lovely women and Mike. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm not normally on at this time on the weekdays. I do generally my weekend shows, which I'm still doing, but lately, because of the craziness that's been going on in the past week, I've just been popping in and out of different rooms to see what's happening.
Oh, he's got the train wreck virus. He likes to watch the train wrecks. Judging you, Steve.
I don't know. Steve, that's not necessarily your way. Do you like the train wrecks?
Like I said, I normally am not on Monday through Friday, so.
I'm still trying to go. I miss it.
No, that's okay. I mean, I've gone on to Amazon. They just don't have the shot that I can take for my disease or virus, whatever.
You're too funny. I love you, Steve. Still.
You're not so bad yourself.
I'm glad the rest of you in this room also enjoy Steve. He is really a good man.
Steve does have great spaces. By the way, a little birdie told me all this drama is because they ultimately don't want a certain somebody coming back to the app, and they want the audience just to be in their rooms. Can you believe that, serendipity? It's manufactured.
Yeah, I can believe that. Well, they said as much when they were complaining about the nostalgia of the good old days and how popular they were, being known as the tallest of the seven dwarves, Clubhouse famous. Like, yes, believe that. I believe that from more than one of the characters involved, but
Yeah,
we'll
but he's coming back. So there's that.
Madam, yeah.
Are we talking about Cardano?
Oh, no. No.
Beetlejuice.
You guys are too funny. You know what the best part for me is? I don't know what you're talking about. That's the best part of coming back to Clubhouse.
Is Roger ever coming back on here?
Yes. I honestly thought Son of Goku was Goo. Why did I think that?
I thought it at first too when he raised his hand. I was going to say,
Right.
Goo, you behave yourself if you come up on stage.
Exactly right. It wasn't Goo. All right, I think we need another poll. What's your favorite drink of choice for happy hour? Beer, wine,
Vodka.
dots, or what's the third one? Make a cocktail.
Vodka.
Well, there's daiquiris too. Liquor.
Vodka. That's what I'm on right now. Vodka.
Thanks for sharing,
Vodka.
son. Thanks for sharing, son. We all notice you, okay? Everybody give son a little pat on the head. Let him know that you know he...
Thunder and lightning and baby say.
Is that German?
No, that was Labyrinth. Sorry.
I knew that was Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, the children's movie from the 80s. Sorry.
That's it's very noisy here, but I just wanted to let you know it's one of my favorite movies in the whole world.
Of course, and then The Princess Bride and The Last Unicorn, and sometimes Never Ending Story, but mainly Labyrinth, Princess Bride,
and Dark.
Dark
You guys
Crystal.
are dating us. Stop it.
Dark
You talking about
Crystal was
Princess Bride?
nightmarish.
You talking about
Yes.
Princess Bride with what's her name?
Inconceivable.
No,
There's
Princess Bride from the 2000s.
There's so many quotes from The Princess Bride that I don't even think people realize that. Inconceivable.
You talking about
Why do you always
Princess
use
Bride
that
with-
word?
With
I
Anne
don't
Hathaway?
think I could. I not Anne Hathaway. Come on, Robin Givens. Stop. It's not Robin Givens either. It's Robin someone.
I didn't even know there was like an older Princess Bride. That's crazy.
There is only one Princess Bride.
There's only one
I don't
that I
know
know of, and it's the one.
Andre the Giant.
Billy
Like-
Crystal, remember he was in it.
Right, and also Carol Kane. Carol.
Yes.
Yeah. She was in it.
Yeah,
Mandy Patinkin.
Mad Max, Mandy Patinkin, Gary Yule. So we had the best cast for that movie.
They really were very amazing. And Carrie, how do you say his last name? Elvis?
Eloise?
I thought it was Yule's, but okay.
Yules? That's not okay.
I don't know, that's a good question. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't think anyone around here cares about how to pronounce shit anyway. The other day, what was the word everyone wanted? Oh, Euro. Oh my god, if I had to leave the room, I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like exploding on the inside.
You
Well,
said
people were
Euro?
saying how they pronounced it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we clarified how it's really pronounced for the room, and nobody cared. They
Is it-
continued pronouncing it atrociously for the whole rest of the next hour, and it really freaked me out. I couldn't handle it. I just left the room.
I'm a word stop too.
Yeah, I was telling you, remember, Sharon, we had that conversation today about how I'm borderline autistic when it comes to like reading emotions, but I pick up on the actual words themselves very clearly.
Yep.
And listening comprehension, I'm pretty high on that as well. And so for me, like when people pronounce things incorrectly, if they don't know any better, that's one thing. But if they know better and they continue to do it, it really freaks me out. I can't handle it. I just leave. I don't fight the issue. We had people calling it gyros, which is probably the least offensive of all of them. Gyros, which is probably the most offensive. What else were they were calling them? I don't know. And we corrected that it's Ye Rose. Ye Rose, basically, is what it is. And nobody cared. I mean, we corrected it and everybody kept saying it wrong anyway.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Well,
Have
you
you
only
seen
have a room.
Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch with the substitute teacher
Yes.
pulling off the name?
Yes, that's what it reminds me of.
Hey, Ron, are you here? Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron. I do love that sketch.
I think without a doubt the best skit this past season is on Saturday Night Live. They did it a couple of times where you've got the people in two different cars and they're doing hand signals while they're talking. Have any of you seen that or no?
We have not seen that.
I have not.
I haven't either.
It is amazing. It is so funny. Yep. You know, of course,
Who's
this
in
is
it?
the 50th.
Who's in it? Who's in it to YouTube? How would I find it on YouTube?
They're just the regular Saturday night players. They don't put a, and I don't even know what it would be called, but they're in two cars right next to each other, like they're stopped at a light for 5 minutes, and they're getting angry and yelling at each other, but of course their windows are up, so they're doing hand signals, and they're, it's hilarious. I'll see if I could get you the name of it. I'll see if I can.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Man, this is tangent to that. I was driving in Atlanta on Roswell Road for serendipity's purposes of placing it in your brain many years ago, and I had my window down, and some guy was driving like an idiot, and I flipped him off, and he whipped his car up next to mine on the left. So he's driving, basically he's aligned with me on the left, and he rolled down his passenger window that was between me and him basically. And he took this hot coffee, a large grande coffee, and he freaking hucked it across the inside of his car, like straight at me. So it went through his car, through his passenger window, between our cars, and then it hits my window, and the bottom of it hit the edge of my window, and the cup went spinning like a sprinkler in my car. Blowing hot coffee through my entire car. I had coffee in the back window. I had coffee in the area, in the slots where the seatbelt goes in. I had coffee all over, of course, myself. Every corner of that car was filled with hot coffee. And I mean, he was a perfect shot. He could not have done it better. And I was like, motherfucker, right? And so I'm trying to see, I got his license plate. I called the cops immediately, and they said it was a stolen car, and there's nothing they could do about it. And the worst part of the whole thing was going home and then having to clean my fucking car for like 3 hours. I was so pissed off. It was the worst, dude.
It's hard getting rid of that smell too. You know it seeped in through the door.
Milk. Yeah, it was milk. It was milk coffee. And it was a full cup. And when he hugged that thing, he held it upright and pushed. It's almost like he pushed it through his car at me, upright, and it went, through his car, out his window, between our cars, and the bottom of it hit like the back of my side window that I rolled down. Like it basically just tapped the back and then spun through my car as it freaking came in. And like he could not have done it better. It was so pissed off.
Well, Mike, you might be able to appreciate this road rage story vicariously. Then it's kind of a revenge story that amazingly it involved me doing absolutely nothing and letting karma take its course. Essentially, we're just coming up on a lane, too busy traffic lane, and there's a point where all the cutters are trying to get on the freeway lane. They try to do it the last minute because there's a long line of cars waiting. So here is like a big black SUV, like Uber driver. He had the permit on his bumper and everything. Is blocking one of the lanes because no one's letting him in. So guy in front of me honks at him. I honk at him. Not like anything egregious, just a simple honk, like you're being a douche. And the guy just goes red, like he's rage. And so a couple of cars move, kind of get between us, and then I pull up next to him. While and I don't give him the bird. I don't even say a word. I don't even roll down my window. Nothing in aggression. I literally just looked over at him and smiled. and he is like, I couldn't hear what he was saying. He looked like he was probably speaking in tongues. He was so mad. So what does he do? He doesn't pay attention that the traffic in front of him has come to a complete stop because my lane is moving. So he tries to move with me in the next lane, right next to me. But unbeknownst to him, he's not paying attention, and the traffic has come to a complete stop. So not only does he hit the car in front of him, he hit it so hard, the car he hit the car in front of him. So he just caused a 2-car accident because he's yelling at some stranger who didn't even provoke him. Like, he was in the wrong all the way. Right? Like, I was on cloud nine the rest of the month.
Okay, you guys, I've got the info that you wanted. One is called Taking Road Rage to a Whole Other Level, SNL. The other one is Traffic Altercation, SNL. And then the third one is Parking Lot Altercation, SNL. Normally I would play like a 60-second clip, but I'm not going to do it because the hand signals and the way they play it out are just so fun.
I'm not watching. So a quick poll. How many people here take pleasure then in seeing the Just Stop Oil protesters get run over?
The who protesters?
The people who block the freeway, Just Stop Oil.
Oh,
they get on the freeway. Yeah.
And they get run over. Gotcha.
And they get run over? I've never seen anything. Is it a video or something?
There are a few times, yeah, or ICE agents running people over, where it's literally the person is trying to push through and the protester is in front, and eventually the person in the car has had enough and they keep going fast, a little bit faster and faster, and then the person falls to the side. A couple of people have been completely run over. So
that's kind of fucked up, actually, hitting people.
I would take no gratification in ever seeing that, ever.
No.
I will say one time.
It would never last in Boston. That's all I can say.
Maybe
not. You would not. No.
Yeah, here's the deal. Like, I am routinely the guy that drives up to the last minute before I merge. Now, here's the deal. If you're going to do it, you can't be a pussy about it. You have to fucking own it, which means two things. One, you find a space and get it in real time. You don't stop and expect them to let you in because they're not going to do it, right? That's number one. You find a space as you're proceeding to that last endpoint. If you fail to do that, and it's very rare when I fail to do it on my own, that means you got to be quick, you got to look for it, you got to hop in. I don't care what people think, right? If you're not able to do that, then you got to eat it and fucking just go straight if you want to turn, or you got to do whatever you got to do. But you don't get to stop traffic for that shit. So if you're going to play that game, you got to own it and you got to be good at it. Otherwise, stay the fuck out. Because I'll tell you what, you know what I mean? You can't be holding up traffic and expecting them to let you in. Fuck that.
Mike, what you just described is the actual correct way to do it.
Yeah, because it's zippering, which actually reduces traffic flow. But that's only if you're not an idiot and you stop and hold up your lane.
You're supposed to use both lanes to the merge point. And everybody's argument is like, well, we all know it's going to one lane, so why don't we all get in that lane sooner? Well, if that's the case, they would have closed the lane that much sooner.
Exactly.
If they're supposed to get in line 5 miles ago, they would have closed it 5 miles ago.
And that's because Americans are obsessed with queuing, is what it's called, right? So there's actually I think it was Malcolm Gladwell. I think it was on Revisionist History. I'm not sure. One of those podcasts, and he did an episode on queuing and how Brits are like really friendly about queuing, or how Americans queue, and we expect it. We expect to stand in line. We expect other people to honor the line. In England, they don't necessarily do that. They don't swear by lines quite as much. So they just kind of mob and get in quick or whatever. And so he did a test, and he found that technically, say that you had one drinking fountain and a big line of people, the fastest way for the most people to get a drink, just the most people, just a pure numbers game, is that every new person who arrives gets the first dibs at the drinking fountain, and the line waits whenever somebody new arrives. So instead of going to the end, you go to the very front and you get to drink. In the end of it, if you do that for an hour where random people are walking up and they're getting first dibs when they do, ultimately more people get a drink than if everybody stands in line one at a time. And so it's
part of what you're describing there is actually like there's two different layouts to grocery store lines.
Yes.
Right? Or like a shopping store line. The places that do it well are places like Marshall's and Kohl's, where they have like 10 registers that all serve one singular line. Because if there's a holdup at one register, the line keeps moving. And this is the way like truncated phone systems operate as well. The ones at the grocery store that is one cashier, one line, is literally to keep you standing in line. So you look at all the dumb tchotchkes that you don't need. Oh, I need a lighter. Oh, I need AA batteries. Oh, I need a fucking People magazine. And maybe you make extra purchases. It's literally designed to keep you there longer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, and to what I was saying about the other way of doing it, just imagine how shitty that would make everyone feel. Everyone would be pissed off. Nobody would let that happen, right? Where like the dude walks up randomly after you've been in line for 10 minutes and walks up to the front, takes a drink. Everybody get mad.
That's exactly why the zipper merge doesn't work, because people's animal brain convinces them that someone is getting away with something that they shouldn't be, and they're getting more than they deserve, and they're getting more than you are because you were the conservative, reasonable person who got over early. And people take that super offensively and will fight and argue and scream out their window and throw coffees and run into the back of other cars, all because they're getting where they're going 15 feet slower. It's insane.
Right, and as soon as I read the zip ring reduces traffic by 30%, I feel like even if someone's mad at me, I'm doing them a fucking favor so they can just eat it. That's what I feel about it.
It's the same thing with lane filtering on motorcycles, too. People lose their mind because they think it's unsafe and unfair, but it's actually categorically safer and more efficient for everybody when it's done correctly.
Oh, Stoker, I was going to ask you a question. You left the room before we were talking about motorcycles. My one question was this. You know how there's big chunks of rubber tire on the highway, sometimes? Yeah. If you hit one of those on a motorcycle, will it fuck you up, or do you just bounce over and keep going?
So it's super circumstantial. One of the things, truck drivers will refer to those as alligators, because tractor-trailer tires have these big, heavy steel bands in them. And what happens when you run over a U-shaped object that wants to be round, it tries to go round again. So it will actually like leap up and kind of bite around your tire. That's why they call them alligators. So in that circumstance, you're pretty fucked. And if you want to try to go around something, you can. But the safest way to hit anything on a motorcycle is straight, upright, and square. If you're in a turn and you're leaning and you hit something, you're in way worse shape. So what they actually teach you is don't try to avoid the object if it's unavoidable, because that's more likely to hurt you than not. And try to hit it upright, straight, and perpendicular to your tires. Depending on the motorcycle, my motorcycle especially, the tires are larger than your average passenger vehicle, which means I can actually probably stomach a bigger pothole or a larger object than your average car can. But if you're riding something like a, Honda 125cc little putt-putt, then you're less capable of taking those sorts of things. So this is also why speed is the enemy and slowing down is always your friend, because you have a better opportunity to calculate and choose other options.
Well, thanks.
The same reason why they tell you, like, if a deer runs in the road, like, hit the deer. Because you're more likely to swerve, miss the deer, hit a tree, and kill yourself.
When I was like 16, my uncle took me to some drag races. There's 2 lanes, cars drag racing, and both one in each lane. And they're funny cars, and they take off, and they haul ass down the thing. And right when they popped their chutes, a deer hopped over the fence and stood in the lane right in front of the funny car. And the funny car smacked the fucker, just like going 200 miles an hour or more. Just popped the chute. And the deer just exploded, just absolutely exploded, and in a green cloud, basically. And the front end of it, from like the front leg's back was gone, but it had its legs attached to its neck and its head still. And it kind of kicked its legs on its side for like 5 minutes, and they came and they grabbed it. Had a rack, so they grabbed it by the horns and they drug it off the thing, and then they had to bring in a fire truck and hose the thing down, and then they had to wait for it to dry before they could go forward. But I just remember it was like in slow motion, like this funny car just, and then you just see this deer hop over and just barely turned its head to look at him and smack fucking hit that deer like 200 miles an hour. It was crazy.
Did the splatter pattern resemble anything of a coffee cup being thrown through 2 car windows?
Some people that look like a butterfly. And other people thought it looked like a demon. It all depends on, like, you know, what you see in it, I guess.
I would be looking at that coffee cup to figure out what Starbucks it was ordered from, and see if I could figure out the name on the coffee cup, and then I would hang out around that time at the Starbucks. Like, I'd go to jail. I'd probably go to jail.
Same.
Oh, so fucking
I mean, except
I was
for the
even
jail.
madder when the cop. I was even madder. It was a lady cop when she arrived, and she said, "We already looked it up. It's a stolen car. There's really nothing we can do about it. We won't be able to find him." That pissed me
Yeah,
off.
but it
even
wasn't a
more.
stolen cop.
I know. That's true. I didn't even think of it. I don't know. Maybe he did. I was so pissed off. I didn't even think about looking at the cup.
If that cup said Steve on it, I would spend the next 5 days staying out in front of that Starbucks, waiting and being like, "Is your name fucking Steve?"
Yes.
I've had a few fucked up things. In Seattle, I had a guy punch the window. I was right out of the Marine Corps, right out of boot camp, thinking I could just take on the world. I'm like, I got all this combat training. I can kill anybody. I'm good to go. And I was on the highway, and some dude was fucking with me on the highway, and I probably flipped him off. I don't remember what I did, and pissed him off. And I took the exit. He took the exit I was going to take in front of me, and then I took the exit. And then he slowed down on the exit and pulled off to the side, like to make me pass him. And I was hesitant, but I passed him, and he whipped him right behind me. And then we stopped at the exit, and then as it took off, he started hitting the back of my car, like bam, bam, bam. He hit a bunch of guys in his car with him, like 3 or 4 guys. Started hitting my car as I was taking off, and I was like, oh, this is fucking serious. And so I tried to just kind of ignore him at that point, and I think I changed lanes to a lane on next to it or whatever. And at this point, we hit another red light, and I was parked in my lane, and then I had a car in front of me, a car behind me, and then on the lane on my left, he was 1 car back, so he was kind of my back, like kitty corner to me. And I didn't even look at him. I was sitting there, I'm like, fuck, I'm not even gonna look back. You know, it's pretty aggressive when you're literally bumping your car into somebody. And all I saw was this movement out of the corner of my eye, and I kind of looked up to the left, and this fist punched through my window, my driver window, and I had tinted windows, so it kind of like blew a hole in my window, and all the plastic still stuck all the broken glass together, but there was a hole in it. And he's looking through the hole at me, and he's like, "I'll fucking kill you, motherfucker. Do you understand that?" And he motions back to his car, and the passenger had a gun, and he was like tapping it on his window and laughing. And I was like, I think I'm sorry or something. I was like, fuck. I mean, I went from being like thinking I'm badass to like, oh my God, scared as fuck. And then all the cars, light turned green, all the cars left. The car in front of me left, the car behind me went around left. Nobody fucking stopped to see how I was doing. I was just still sitting there. Everybody leaves. He pulls like one of those movie things where you go in reverse and like 180 or whatever and drive the other lane direction or whatever. And I was just sitting all by myself, and I was like, fuck, okay, well, that happened. And my brother to this day says like, man, as soon as he bought my car, I would have pulled my pistol out of the fucking out of the glove box. I would have had it in my lap in case anything happened. And then when he punched the window, I would have shot him through the fucking hole. And I was like, yeah, but then you would have been fucking killed because the guy in the car, kitty corner to you, would have shot up your fucking car. And I'm like, so I'll never forget. I always think of that case as an example that if I'd had a gun, it would have escalated it. I wouldn't even known to look back at the other guy. And there'd be 2 dead people potentially. But because there was no gun and because I just freaking ate it, even though my life was threatened, nobody died. So everybody says guns, prevent violence. They can also escalate violence. Like, it's a perfect example, It's
also a great example that not enough people have that experience in a way where, like, they see things could have gone really sideways, but it didn't go sideways, and that informs your decision making for the rest of forever, you know? That took some bravado off of you and made you to be a little bit more analytical. There's so many people roaming around who haven't been smacked in the mouth or had a fist put through their window, and as a result, they still do that shit on a daily basis.
Yeah, I really don't put people off anymore. I really don't. I decided years ago, fuck, it's just not worth it. I just can't predict what people.
There's a video that made national news a couple of years ago of a couple, a husband and a wife shoveling snow in front of their house, and they're giving shit to the neighbor because the neighbor's bitching, you're throwing snow in my, in my parking spot or whatever the dispute was. They're arguing, and they're arguing and arguing. The guy comes out of the house with a gun. And the husband says, like, oh, what are you going to do with that? And he shoots and kills him right in the middle of the street. And he shoots and kills the wife. And this is all, like, on their home security cameras. And then the guy goes in his house and blows their own brains out. And like, that makes you realize, like, you don't know how bad of a day or how crazy somebody might be. You know, like, somebody coming in front of you at Chick-fil-A, or, you're like, I always try to think, like, I'm going to a fucking grocery store. You know what I mean? If somebody's shot and bleeding in the back of my car, then yeah, sure, whatever. But, like, I'm going to Walmart to buy fucking eggs. You know, like, nothing that can happen on the road is worth that kind of beef, that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, especially nowadays. John Kitover, you want to come up? Are you going to bless us? Are you going to grace us with your crazy self?
Well, I'd like to read a poem, if I may.
Can't wait.
Can't believe this is so funny. Okay, this is called In the Muff by candidate Congressman John Kitover. Advice doesn't help lovers. They're not the kind of mountain stream you can build a dam across. An intellectual doesn't know what the drunk is feeling. Don't try to figure what those lost inside love will do next. Someone in charge would give up all his power if he caught one whiff of the wine musk from the room where the lovers are doing who knows what. One of them tries to dig a hole through a mountain. One flees from academic honors. One laughs at famous mustaches. Life freezes if it doesn't get a taste of this almond cake. The stars come up spinning every night, bewildered in love. They'd grow tired with that revolving if they weren't. They'd say, how long do we have to do this? God picks up the reed flute world and blows. Each note is a need coming through one of us, a passion, a longing, pain. Remember the lips, where the wind breath originated, and let your note be clear. Don't try to end it. Be your note. I'll show you how it's enough. Go up on the roof at night in this city of the soul. Let everyone climb on the roofs and sing their notes. Sing loud!
It made me horny, John. Thanks for that.
See, this is why we enjoy the presence of Mr. Kitover, because we get to say things like, our rooms have poetry. We read books. We do all the cultural things.
You give us credibility. You give us intellectual credibility, John. Thanks for that.
This is true.
Yeah, try reading a book on here sometime. You might like it.
Oh my goodness. The puns. Oh God, you're doing good.
Sorry, Stilgar's doing good. He's also doing the dishes. So not so quick on
Oh.
that. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Still back.
Yeah, things are good. Things are good.
Good. Is
Feeling
Mrs.
productive,
Silver
everything
getting
but-
caught up?
Mrs. Stilgard will living and reading a book, and I think I'm going to do some meal prep to try to behave myself and not order Chipotle for the third time this week.
Yay!
Feeling a little productive today. Dishes and meal prep. Like the game time.
Right. I still say they're the cutest couple on Clubhouse. Okay, not really on Clubhouse, but she's not on Clubhouse, but I just love hearing him talk about Mrs. Stoker.
Yeah, she's too normal and well adjusted. If you were to offer, like, hey, do you want to get on the internet and talk to strangers? You go, absolutely not.
Oh yeah, my wife would never in a million fucking years be interested in this. That means we're all married to people better than ourselves.
That part's definitely true for me, for sure.
It's definitely true for me too.
I'd have never been on Clubhouse when I was married, for sure. He'd have strung me up.
I mean, well, for me, I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years.
Yeah,
Have to, meet you.
that's right.
But now,
She says, but now? What?
I'm back outside.
We need Sun back in here. Sun was on one.
Oh, I can't ask you any questions because John's in here recording. I don't know what to say. It's like I'm back at work.
You can wave at me when you.
Oh, Lord. Give me 30 minutes.
Right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Oh.
But in fairness, if it wasn't for John's recording, how would we ever memorialize this, anthropological oddity in time? He's making a record of history for all of our favors. Thank you, John. You're doing the Lord's work. That's all sarcasm, but.
It's his art, Stilgar.
I never thought of it like that. And you know what? You're right. Even though you may be being silly, I mean, you never know it's going to be valuable coming up, Life is free. And I'm taking you guys in the shower with.
One thing I've noticed about Clubhouse is there's two kinds of people. The kind of people that admit to peeing while on Clubhouse, and the kind that don't.
Which one are you?
Oh, I admit it. I sit on the toilet. I'm on Clubhouse. You poop on Clubhouse sometimes, still, guy? Sometimes, yeah. It's tricky though, right? Because like, I don't want to do anything but wash my hands immediately after I'm done. I don't want to have to handle my phone. So then the worst case scenario is like somebody calls on you, and then you have to pretend you're doing the dishes.
Yeah, that's tragic.
Yeah, if you haven't spent any time looking at my YouTube channel, there's a lot of videos on there, and there's a lot of accounts on there. But, you know, you are probably in one of those shorts.
This is probably true.
Hey, Serendipity, I need to talk to you for like 1 minute. We'll be
Okay. All right.
You're not watching Kristen do anything. Thank you very much.
How many videos from Clubhouse do you have on YouTube, John?
I'm not sure, but I've got over 20,000 videos up on YouTube and over 20,000 on Instagram.
How many subscribers do you have?
Across all of YouTube, it's like 5,000, and then Instagram is like a couple thousand. Nothing is really that interesting, but you know what is cool is on Google now is if you take a photo, it'll give you that option to turn it into a video, and it'll give you like 10 options on what you want the video to be. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's crazy. I did not try that. I've not tried that. That sounds bizarre though. So it'll take your photo and then make a video out of your photo?
Yeah.
Like if it's say it's like a photo of a bride kissing the groom at a wedding ceremony.
Yeah, it'll like, make them
you could say like, yeah. I want the movie to be them walking down the aisle.
You can't say what you want. It gives you like 10 suggestions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of Grok on X does that. You know, there's a lot of AI that don't do that now.
But what I did is the mayor of Chicago and Pritzker, the governor, had a big meeting with like 100 people by the river, and I took that photo and it turned all of them into dancers, and then I played the Blues Brothers soundtrack over it, and I wrote, it's called Somebody Needs You, and then I tagged Donald Trump with an orange heart, and it got a lot of views.
I think I'm gonna go play with that.
You have to do it with a short. So you click short, you choose your picture, and then above it'll say, do you want to turn this photo into a video? And then yes, select your option.
And that's on Google? That's on Google?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Okay, YouTube short. Do you want to turn this picture into a video? Oh.
Okay, you want to hear one more poem from Rumi? Eddie, Kristen, Mike, you want to hear another poem?
Sure, go ahead.
Yep.
On the day I die, when I'm being carried toward the grave, don't weep. Don't say he's gone. He's gone. Death has nothing to do with going away. The sun sets and the moon sets, but they're not gone. Death is a coming together. The tomb looks like a prison, but it's really release into union. The human seed goes down in the ground like a bucket into the well where Joseph is. It grows and comes up full of some unimagined beauty. Your mouth closes here and immediately opens with a shout of joy there. When I see your face, the stones start spinning. You appear, all studying wanders. I lose my place. Water turns pearly. Fire dies down and doesn't destroy. In your presence, I don't want what I thought I wanted. Those three little hanging lamps inside your face, the ancient manuscripts seem like rusty mirrors. You breathe, new shapes appear, and the music of a desire is widespread as spring begins to move like a great wagon. Drive slowly. Some of us walking alongside are lame.
Y'all look at this room. You know what's going on, right?
It's a happy hour in the muff.
It's the train wreck hour. They're all going to watch it.
Where's the train wreck?
Right now?
In the hall.
Which room? Let's
Next
see.
door to the left, John. You should get right over there.
Oh, is there some shit going down in the hall?
Yep.
No,
Oh,
there's
I'm gonna there to look.
I created a room yesterday called All the Drama Has Been Crushed. If you can say it, it is not true. But I'd have to get on my burner account to see if maybe I'm blocked. Probably. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. What do I see? I see nothing. Nothing.
Let's
nothing,
air out
nothing.
some dirty laundry. Yeah.
I haven't seen JB in a day or two.
I haven't seen him in a day or two either. I mean, I do know. I there's probably some intentionality behind that. I think that the smarter idea is to just not participate, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think they're trying to do that.
I'm trying to let it diffuse.
Yeah. There's a spectacular canceling effort going on too, apparently.
Well, you know, my accounts have been clipped, deleted, terminated, censored more than anybody on this app, and all I can say is here I am speaking and breathing, recording and clipping everyone on Clownhouse.
This is true, but you're not curating spaces where you're trying to draw people. You're going to said spaces. So your experience with the hassles of reported clipping are not quite the same as somebody else's who wants to draw crowds.
When you get clipped, if assuming it doesn't happen like when you're in a room and you just disappear from the room, I would imagine it happens when you're logged out and you come back in. Does the app just say you don't have an account anymore? Does it let you know, or it just doesn't work?
It does.
No.
Yeah, it does. You get a red banner.
But it's not long. You get a red
get
bar.
Like a red banner.
You gotta look. You gotta really read it.
Or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You gotta read it. Otherwise, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
John, you just own a bunch of iPhones? Is that what you
No,
do?
they're all like $50 Motorola's, and they're 50 megapixels for $50, and then you just get a $15 1 month plan. Cancel, don't do the renewal, and then you got a phone, a $65 good phone that you can sit here and film with and live stream on.
Because then it's just all Wi-Fi. You don't need cellular.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get the phone number to log into Clubhouse?
It's a $15 a 1 month plan for 30 days.
Oh, and then once you cancel it, the number just remains.
Yeah, but you don't
So
even
you sign up with the number.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even do that anymore. I'm not buying any more phones because now I can just get a new burner number for $1.99. So it's pointless.
How many phones do you have?
I don't know, 60 maybe.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are they all laid out on a table and you just
No.
keep them plugged in?
No, I
on,
got
like,
these.
like
I got these little.
splitters?
No, I got a cell phone rack. You can go on eBay and buy cell phone racks.
And they're all running Clubhouse at the same time?
No,
Or different
I'm
shit?
live streaming mostly to YouTube and X. The YouTube accounts again have over 20,000 videos, and there's a lot of Clubhouse videos. Like it is the de facto Clubhouse library from the past 5 years. There's nobody else. And you know what I found out in the state of Illinois? Anything that you record, that's your copyright. It doesn't go the other way around. Not in Illinois. So that's one interesting thing I uncovered while I was doing this podcast with this guy George, who runs the Prairie Report, this newspaper. So that was interesting because he was very upset that I live streamed the interview as well, but it goes both ways. So he was like, "There's nothing I can do that you live stream yourself." He's like, "But you didn't ask me." I'm like, "Well, we didn't discuss anything, and we didn't sign anything. So, we were on a Zoom call that you recorded. So you tell me, I can't infringe on your recording, but I also have 10 of the same recordings, so it is what it is. But people would have to spend a lot of money suing you to prove that there were damages, and there's really no damages for anybody on this app financially. So anyways, this is what I'm doing. I don't know. This is like my next level game of Clown House. I can't believe other people aren't doing it. I would love to see a John Kitover YouTube account or a John Kitover Clubhouse account, like somebody recording me and publishing me. Like that's when I know I'm like starting to optimize and automate what I'm doing, because that would mean I don't have to do, that means people are doing for me what I have to do for myself.
There's only one John Kitover in the world, John. We don't need two of you.
Well, if I had an assistant, a secretary or a videographer working for me, and filming a lot more, like it would be even more obnoxious, but it would be fun to have somebody doing
You
it.
haven't figured out any way to monetize any of the content, right? For the most part.
No, none of this is monetized on Google. None of the accounts are at the threshold yet.
Well, not even the threshold, but to make some kind of product from clips of all the recordings that you have, the best of the best or something, to make little like animations.
The product is the campaign.
The ridiculousness of a fight in here or something like that.
The product is the campaign. That's the one big leap that's connected with my profiles, with my identity, because all of these recordings, are technically coming to Congress with me. So I've recorded every speaker, every topic under the sun. There's nothing that I have not heard which would be new, in the stupid book. So that's all I'm saying. In the Clubhouse book, because like everything on this app is it's a lot of drama, it's a lot of gossip, it's a lot of screaming and road raging, but I will submit that even the two little poems that I have read today is of higher value to you personally, intellectually, and psychologically than just about 99.9% of everything you've ever heard on this app.
John, I still think you need to take like 15, 20-second clips of really crazy moments on here, and then somehow get AI to animate those with characters, like character-driven cartoons.
Yeah, I tried that.
Moments.
I tried that.
Yeah, I swear to God you have to do it, because it would. I know it would be entertaining to throw it on Instagram or probably TikTok.
There's ways to manipulate the algorithm on YouTube. I have like some tricks, but I've done the things that I've done so many times, or what to me works best. But I'm going to this meetup here in Chicago at the end of the month with this Polish guy who has a very big X account, and he's friends with Elon Musk, and this former CEO of X, and he's putting it together this like 1 day training seminar for marketing on X. So we'll see what he says. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of interesting things to say. He takes great photos with him holding signs at like Kmart, key basically, venues, cool places. He takes great photos. So, but I don't know. He works in politics. He goes to he works for campaigns, and it's all about money for some people. But I guess eventually, when you have influence or art power or star power, like you get compensated for what you're doing. But I don't have any money to give this guy.
You call it Clubhouse Clips, and you start off with a logo that says Clubhouse Clips, and then whoosh, with like a hand smacking it away or something. And then you go right to two people fighting on Clubhouse, like with Jazzy, like laying into somebody, and you animate her as like just a crazy black woman, and then you animate whatever's going on the other side of it. You go back and forth, and then it just ends, and then the next one's like Clubhouse Clips, whoosh, again, and it's a new one.
Listen, people view videos. You get views only based off of keywords. Like if there's not keywords attached to it, there's multiple variables that go into creating a video that will go viral in the algorithm. I can easily identify
whatever content, whatever the subject is. So there's people fighting about, I don't know, Israel. If it's Jews fighting with Hebrew Israelites or something, those are your keywords right there.
Yeah, but
crazy Jews fighting with Hebrew Israelites.
That may or may not get rewarded. I mean, you'd have to go through my videos and sort by most popular, and then look at the titles and look at the videos and say, okay, there's a reason why these are better than the bottom tier ones that got no views. So that's one way to look at it.
I just think they have to have an animation along with them. They have to have a visual fun aspect to them.
Well, it's mostly just 15-second clips of Clubhouse people, yelling at each other. Politically Correct with Lisa and Patty and Dr. AG. Those rooms are so toxic and so crazy because there's so much profanity that, to me, they're my new gold standard in terms of, profanity and derogatory remarks and insanity. I don't know, you could spend some time on my YouTube and watch Politically Correct here on Clown House, and you can see the madness that is politically correct.
I mean, what does that say about politically correct when I look at all the madness that's been going on in these other rooms? Like, crazy.
I don't know. That's why I think it's like, see, a lot of people say they take breaks. Like, oh, I haven't been on this app in 4 weeks. It's like, lady, you've been on here 2 weeks talking nonstop. What are you talking about? You haven't been on this app. Most people are probably so hypnotized that their amnesia sets in. They don't even know they're on this app all day long. So, my point is, by not talking on here and just recording it, I left the house. I didn't even take my phone with me. To the gym. I had a great afternoon. I come back and boom, I'm still recording because the former room closes, but because of this clicker, it brings me right back into a new room. So I never have any dead airtime. I try to prevent, wasting having any dead airtime on my end as a recorder.
I've been enjoying Talking Apes lately. The last couple of days, I've actually really enjoyed their conversation.
Me too. I'm just like, wow.
They're not stupid, right? Like, I feel like some of the rooms people are kind of generally dumb in them. Like, Chillism is a more intelligent room, but it's outrageous. Talking Apes is fun and sometimes smart, and not necessarily outrageous, and they're not really rude.
Right.
And I don't know, I really like them.
Me too. I've been enjoying them too.
I just stumbled upon them recently. Maybe because I'm like generally following you nowadays, like I didn't used to. Maybe that's how I found them actually. So I'm wondering why I haven't seen them before, if they've been around a while.
Yeah, they have been around a while. But yeah, I've actually been really enjoying going into their rooms too. It's just like, sometimes like I've just got so much to do that like I just really need to be in listening mode and not like up trying to make sure I'm talking to everybody and whatnot. And it's a great place to go.
And it's a generally black room that appreciates my voices, which is rare. That's another thing. I'm heard, and they respond, and to anything if I want to add something. They're super cool like that. I really like them, but it's generally a black room.
Yep, I think so too. I've enjoyed it. I thought their conversation today was, they did really good given the topic.
Yeah, I thought it was more interesting than, and JB's a friend of mine, but I still thought it was more interesting than JB's room on the male versus female take. I thought they did a better job of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
And they listen to reason, and they, you know, they're influential. I don't know what that word is. Influenceable.
Yep.
You know, it's not, they don't just stand in their ways and bark out bullshit and refuse to listen to people.
Yeah, and each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were times where like they kind of took one position, but then you could kind of see as the conversation went on and more people spoke, like you could actually see people kind of being like, well, you know, yeah, okay, I see that.
Totally, it's really unusual. That's what I noticed mostly about it today. That's the biggest thing I noticed about it was that was happening. I was like, bing, like my ADHD like keyed into the fact that this is unusual. Well, this is the trend that I find very often.
You know the Raven girl that was in there?
Yeah.
She's a Bollywood star.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She is a Bollywood
she's smart.
star.
She's fun. I like this in her too.
Yeah, she does like probably their equivalent to like daytime drama. She's done a couple movies, but yeah. She's got like over 1 million followers on Insta.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
John, what's your thought process behind why you copy house names and people's names?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Because I'm trying to point out the conditioning of Mojo or Roger Mayhem, because that's not a real person. So I'm trying to break and dehypnotize and decondition people by having some alternative spaces for people to reflect on why they're here, giving so much of themselves in conversation and communication.
Why people are here, like as in this house?
Clown House, yeah.
Well, this house too. Because he's duped in the month before.
Yeah, it's duped twice actually by him. Because Mojo asked that it be reported.
See, the thing is, somebody asked me, are you the parasite or the host? And I said,
that's a good question, Kendra. That's a real good question. I wish I would have come up with that question for you. Because you're both. You're totally both.
It is fitting. I told them, I said, those are Kitovers.
See, this is a game, and a lot of people, I just wish they could view what I'm doing as a compliment to what they're doing. And if they were to run with it as they have ran in the past, we run pretty fast, pretty far together, and having all these extra brains in this room essentially creates a nexus of sorts in this political campaign, which needs money and needs action and movement and mass communication. So this app and In the Muff could be extremely vital in terms of managing this campaign, because imagine if chillism became like an actual politically organized room and somebody in there ran for Congress or mayor. Like they could potentially politically get together and really organize it, because having all these brains and all these fingers and all these cell phones, it's a massive brain. So that's really what you would hope to achieve in any political movement.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all nodes and nexuses. I mean, that's the whole breakdown of the government and the chain of command, from the commander in chief down to the congressional. the senatorial, the judicial, everything is like one huge, giant network. But I'm saying in order to achieve a node in that network, having an app like this get organized and working together in a very intelligent way would be the ultimate goal of having a mass communication free telephone conference call app.
If that ever happened, it would also bring awareness to Clubhouse in a good way. It's largely unknown outside of people who use it. And it deserves to be known more than it is, I think. But at the same time, it needs to try harder to be less disgusting, if that's what it wants. You know what I mean? Like giving people the ability to be anonymous, in my opinion, is literally about creating more drama, and that seems the opposite direction that I'd be wanting to take it if I was in charge of it.
Well, what's interesting, being somebody who records, so there's so much content of me which is clipped and curated, topical, versus the live stream footage that I've accrued. The live stream footage is so much data and so many videos and so many effing hours that if you were to look at it, you'd say, this is crazy. There's 7,000 live streams just in this one account alone. And it's all of Clownhouse because, I set it and I forget it. I'll come back in 2 hours, 3 hours. Some videos are 6 hours. Some videos are 24 hours. Some videos are 36 hours. So what I'm saying is there's just too much content, not enough substance.
Yeah, 100%. That is true, Ron. That is very true.
Look at somebody from Clubhouse digging for something.
Yep. Unless they're trying to find ammo.
Yeah. I need some receipts. Fucking receipts. Ro, what are you doing? There's slippers.
Hey, slips.
Don't mod me, everybody's blocked.
Don't mod me, everybody's blocked.
We won't get anyone in the room ever again if we mod you.
I've had a big fight with Adams over the past couple of weeks, really past couple of years. But Adams, at one point we had a truce. I'm just wondering, in the name of peace, stillness, and joy, can we form a peace and a truce today, right now? Can I apologize?
Look at my profile, John. Out of anybody, it's probably the most surprising that John didn't make the block list.
Wow. Good on you.
Good on you, John. Don't mod me.
John might be obnoxiously annoying sometimes, but he's far from dangerous. Blocklist is for dangerous people, in my opinion.
Goo, the little troll that runs around here sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he literally went through and blocked every conservative Clubhouse, and every time any of them tried to open the room, he immediately went out on stage so nobody can get in.
That's a good idea.
So fucking obnoxious.
It's hysterical.
And for the longest time, people couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. Like, nobody was going to the rooms. Every conservative on Clubhouse. Black. People silly. How you doing, Ro?